shade, busy feeding on some vegetation, probably browsing off little shrubs that she can find. Now, don't forget, everyone, we are completely live, so send us your questions and your comments via Twitter at #SafariLive. That's how you get hold of us. Now, some of you might be wondering, why have we started 10 minutes earlier? So we occasionally do school conferences and that, and we get the school drives on and get people to watch and hopefully get more schools involved. So this was a trial just to see if one of the other schools were going to be joining us. However, through some technical difficulties, they're going to be joining us tomorrow. So not a problem, but you get 10 minutes more of us. Sorry, I've got a fly buzzing around me. Let's continue and see what we can find. So you've got 10 more minutes with us this afternoon, which is great. And I'm looking forward to this afternoon. I'm hoping that we get to find some cats. I'm also going to be working on the birding this afternoon. I've got a bird challenge to see how many birds we can find in 2 weeks. So let's see what we can rack up this afternoon. But let's head across to Taylor McCurdy so she can say good afternoon to you.
First things first, I want to know, can I donate birds to Byron's list? Does it count? Byron, can you phone a friend to help you complete your challenge in 1 week? Megan and Tristan and everyone in Final Control just shut me down. How terrible. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Sebastian. I don't know why. I suppose it's an upcoming boxing match. I was practicing. Remember, this is live. This is happening right now. Nothing of this is recorded. How exciting is that? So you can actually have chats with us, and if you'd like to have a chat with myself and Byron this afternoon, I'm not sure if the Mara will be joining us. I know Jamie and Brent were going out. I spoke to Brent. They're not joining us. I think they're getting prepared for TV. So you can, did I already say the #SafariLive thing? I completely forgot. But if not, you can do that, or you can chat to us again, just in case you forgot, via the YouTube chat too. Now, I was hoping to find Short Trunk and her family, which is a female elephant that was actually seen at the dam cam sort of midday today. She was there with her offspring, and unfortunately it tracked their tracks. I think it's them. They crossed out and going to Buffelshoek by Timboti Dam, which is a little bit sad because it would have been so nice to see them. I haven't seen a Short Trunk and her crew for a very long time. And again, just popping through every now and then, not an elephant that we see all the time. So that's going to be my plan. I'd love to find some elephants and spend most of the day with them. Perhaps we'll go down towards Chitwa and see what's happening down there. Hopefully there's no guests that have stayed behind in camp. And who knows, maybe Hosanna pops out as well. So that's sort of going to be our plan. We've got to put some cameras up as well. So we're venturing towards big open plains of quarantine, and then we'll also go to Treehouse Dam, but we're still a little bit away at the moment. I'm sure we will do some birding, seeing as though we do birding every single day. Who knows, maybe a reptile or two will be out. It's lovely and warm. There's not a breath of wind. It's fantastic. Now, obviously, Byron is doing birding, so he wants to find some feathered friends for you. So best we hop back on board with something that can fly.
Well, thank you, Taylor. So it is, the birds have to be shown on camera by myself and whoever the cameraman is at the time. So that is the tricky part. Seeing the birds while we're driving around is easy, and we can spot them and ID them, but we need to get them on camera. So that's the tricky part of it. I'm sitting on 24, I believe. I'm trying to have a look in this drainage line. These are perfect areas for birds. Some wonderful big trees, so you never know what we could spot. But we'll also be looking out for any animals moving around. I often find that if you do drive and you're looking for birds, you're looking very carefully in certain areas, you spot other animals too. So there is a benefit to birding, definitely. So Eric, you asked, when is the season for flowers to bloom? Well, just after, basically, as we move further into spring, once we start getting the first rains, Eric, so about November, you start seeing a lot of plants flowering. Some of the trees already have started flowering. If you have a look at this beautiful knobthorn, Eric, you can see there's some wonderful yellow flowers on there. So at the moment, there are some trees that are flowering. Another plant that flowers this time of year in the winter is an Impala lily, and beautiful pink and white flowers. And I'm just trying to think. I think I've got a photo of one here actually that I can show you. I actually took this in the Timbavati, but there we go. Look at these beautiful flowers of the Impala lily. For some reason, I haven't found any around here. Well, this season just yet, but look at that. Beautiful pink and white. Really, really lovely flowers. So they are flowering now. One of the only flowers that we see this time of year, and it's incredible to see the vibrant color when the bush is so dry, and it really does stand out. But most of the other flowers you'll start seeing closer to November, December. You'll start seeing more flowers. Now, Taylor said she was going to try do some birding this afternoon too. Let's go across and see if she's managed to find some so long.
No, not yet. I did see a chugger though, brown crown chugger. That's really also fun. I heard some hornbills. I'm going to lose my cameraman in a minute because he's going to jump out and quickly take some pictures with the small little camera for a project that we are working on, a potential safari live story. So we're going to do that now as well. We've got to get it done, otherwise it just inconveniences my drive. You know, this Sebastian, he asks for the most ridiculous things out here on safari. He's so demanding. How does Shannon put up with you, Sebastian? No, I'm joking. Shannon is probably sitting watching going, Taylor, preach it. No, I'm joking. I mean, he's teasing. Sebastian's a wonderful husband. He's not demanding at all. I'm only teasing. It's payback now because I've only got a few days left to tease everyone. Yeah. Because, then I'm going to have a real big mouth, I suppose, when I'm in Kenya, because nobody can do anything to me this time. Okay, so Seb, we're going to show them what you're going to do. That's what we're going to watch you. There we go. That's fine. So Seb's going to jump out. He's jumping out of the car. You heard that was Seb. That's the noise that a Sebastian made. Look at that white shirt blending into the vegetation so amazingly. That's it. Camops have to wear those shirts in case they get lost out here, and it's easier for us to find them, of course. There he is. He's attaching the small little camera to the tree. There's a mount on there. And who had to screw the holes into the tree? Yeah. Did you do that as well? Handyman here, I tell you. So now he's got his little notebook. I should actually jump on the camera and zoom in. That would be very funny. I think I'd break the camera though if I had to touch all the buttons. So we'll just leave it over here. That's actually our favorite thing to do, is when they leave us. Megan is telling me what I must say. Megan says that I must tell all of you watching that it's for the change of season story, which will be happening in a little bit.
Yeah, you'd only see the results in 6 months.
Sebastian says you'll only see the results in 6 months. So he's doing time lapses at the moment. We had a really nice, no, he's not, he's taking pictures. We had a nice time lapse the other day where we had that first cold front come in and all the clouds were moving about, so it's so dramatic. So that was quite nice. As simple and as quick as this. It's basically done now. How many images is it? 10?
Yeah, 10 pictures every day for 4 or 5 months, I guess.
Serious dedication.
Yeah.
I would forget half the time that I'm supposed to do that. That would be the worst.
Thank you everyone for your patience.
Here we go. Seb's climbing back into the car. So we're going to carry on to our next destination to put the final camera up and take some more pictures. Perhaps you'll join us there at Treehouse Dam. However, Byron's still on his birding mission.
Oh dear, see again, as we were saying, it's difficult to get the birds on camera. We had red-billed hornbill, which we haven't seen yet. flew away, so we'll have to find another one. This is a tricky challenge, but I like it. I know Taylor had wonderful views of Tundi this morning, that female leopard. Now, my thoughts are there wasn't much of that carcass left, and she headed on to Torchwood, and I'm assuming she met up with her cub, Tumba, the young male. So I'm thinking I'm going to head into that area just because there wasn't much left of that carcass, so possibly they may have finished it, and maybe they move around. There's water at Buffelshoek Dam, so my thoughts are that after leopards feed, they do generally get quite thirsty. So I'm going to go into that area, have a look around there, and maybe we get some luck this afternoon. Not sure, and it's quite warm, so they might not be moving around, but you never know. Maybe they headed into that area to go grab some water. They could go anywhere, but I think because they weren't far from there, they might decide to move into that part of the property. So we'll see and try our best. I thought I saw a little bird. Let's see if we can see it. Hold on a second. I don't know, there was something around there. Oh, that looked like a little flycatcher. Oh dear. Now, it's going to be tricky to identify. Where is it? I'm just trying to use my binoculars. Is it still there? There's a little sunbird above us. Looks like a female white-bellied sunbird. There it goes. I think that's a female white-bellied sunbird. I'm just going to double-check quickly. That's definitely a sunbird. That's great. That's nice. And that's not something we see very often. So let's see if I can get a confirmed ID. But that is a female. So sometimes the females are a little harder to identify. Let me just double check. There we go. It is a white-bellied sunbird. No need. There is the male. Oh, wonderful. That's the male. So that just made it easy for us. The other one was indeed the female. So that's what we saw. Fantastic. Now the females, that brown coloration, so I think that's what we saw jumping across on the tree on the other side. They're so fast. That's a nice little one to add to the list. There we go. I think we've hit 25. Is that right? Megan, 25. Quarter of a century. Finally, hey Megan. Rattling. Let's see if we can get them. Sorry, Senzo, this is tricky. There we go. Rattling testiculars. Add that to the list. Oh, nice. There we go. And they're also quite quick and move around a lot. Look at that. Rattling testiculars. You can also hear by the call. There's a group of them that just flew past. And off they go. Oh, that's nice. Another one for the list. Sure, I think we might be in for a good birding afternoon. Now the challenge, the birding challenge, came from an idea I had. So what I thought was, because I'm only here for 2 weeks in this particular stint, so I thought, well, let me open it up to the audience and get you to give me some challenges over the next 2 weeks. See what I can find, what I need to do. So there have been some strange and interesting requests. One of them was, well, it actually came from Brent. He said I should try and find 100 bird species. Now it's a bit tricky in winter, but there's a woodpecker sitting on that tall, thin tree to the back there. Sensor, can we get it? There it is. Oh, what is that? Can we see? It's a bit far. I think it's a golden-tailed woodpecker. Caught a quick glimpse of it. Let's have a look quickly. But a woodpecker would be great to add to the list. No, definitely not a golden-tailed. Was it perhaps a cardinal? Sure, I didn't see any speckling on the front. That looked quite large, that one too. You know what? I think it was a bearded woodpecker, everyone. Yeah, I think it's a male bearded woodpecker. And Tristan's watching at the moment, and he seems to agree with what he's seen. I think it's a male bearded woodpecker. No, just hiding behind that tree. But that's wonderful. That's great. Now, Taylor's just got some technical issues quickly. She just needs to swap her monitor around, so you're going to be stuck with me for a while, everyone. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, the challenges have been coming through thick and fast. One of the challenges was I need to climb a tree like James Henry did. Oh, there's a beautiful bird that just flew up into the... It's a grey-headed bushshrike. Hang on, Sensor, just through... Have you got it? You got it? There we go. Grey-headed bushshrike. Wonderful. That's a lovely one to add to the list because they often very secretive birds. Well done, Senzo. Fantastic. The grey-headed bushshrike. Awesome. So as I was saying, one of the challenges was I need to climb a tree like James Henry did. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's focus on the birding for now, and then we'll work on climbing a tree. James is actually a little upset with me. Christine, your challenge, I need to find the ostrich. Right, well, that would be great. Find an ostrich. Add that to the bird list. So as I said, James is a little upset with me today. You all know James has kitted out a bit of a gym area around the camp in front of the final control. And I thought I would go and gym a little bit this afternoon. And the one of the sets of equipment that he has put up, 2 ropes with handles, it wasn't very sturdy, James, and it snapped and broke while I was using it, and I fell on my back. But luckily there was no one around to see. Actually, there were Amanda and Innocentia were there, so they saw. I think they chuckled inside a little bit. But I think James owes me workman's compensation or something for my injuries. But he is upset that I broke his equipment. Megan says she wishes she got that on camera. It actually was quite funny, so... Oh well. Anyway. Jeez, what a great start with our birding. funny, we don't have yellow-billed or red-billed hornbills yet. Just haven't seen any that we put on camera. Whereabouts in the tree? There, that's a. I think we've just try. See if we can get it there. It's a Burchell starling, well spotted, just sitting on the. I don't think we've got that one yet. Can you see him there? Yeah. We do have We've got Burchell starling. You see, now the trick is I'm going to have to remember these birds that we have. Thank you, though, Senzo, well spotted. Our beard, you say you can't find the grey-headed bush shrike. No, that's strange. You say you can't find it on the app. Let me see. That's shouldn't be. Oh no! Oh, beard. It's not a wood shrike. It's a bush shrike. Grey-headed bush shrike. Who said wood shrike? That's it. Let me show you quickly. Oh, beard. There we go. Grey-headed bush shrike. Sorry, perhaps it didn't. No, Tristan says I said wood shrike. No, Tristan, I did not. Tristan needs to clean his ears. Oh, there we go. It's a bush shrike. So grey-headed bush shrike. Maybe in my excitement I spoke a bit too quickly. Taylor's still currently building a television that she may then put on Wendy because she's got some technical issues. So she's just building a television to use as a monitor. Jay, you asked if the male and female birds count as two birds. No, they don't. It will still just be one species. So, unfortunately not, because that was great. Those white-bellied sunbirds, both male and female. But unfortunately, they won't count as two. It will count as one. Just the one species. It's a lovely afternoon. Oh, what have we got? Sorry, I just saw some birds fluttering about in that tree. Now, I wonder if they're not mobbing something, perhaps. We do have them already. And they are the Retz's helmet shrikes. We've got them on the list. But always nice seeing them, a group of Retz's helmet shrikes. Looks like a bit of a bird party around those trees. The wonderful thing with these flowers at the moment on the knobthorns, they do attract a lot of birds. Now we're getting closer towards Buffelshoek Dam. I'm going to be checking the road very carefully for any tracks of these leopards that might have come back into the area. Sorry, I just thought I saw something through there. No. I mean, wouldn't that be great to see that female and the young male leopard, Tundi and Tumba? I haven't seen them for a while, so it would be great. But Taylor had wonderful views of Tundi this morning. I'm quite surprised, though, that she decided to take the kill across to the young male. Often what the females will do, if they make a kill, they'll keep it in an area and then go away, fetch the cub and bring it back to the kill. Not necessarily carry the whole kill, but I don't think there was much of that little dacre left that Tundi killed, but still, interesting behavior. And Courtney, you were asking what is my favorite bird and why? Well, Courtney, I really enjoy the owls, and the owls at the moment have been amazing. Scops owl, pearl spotted owlet, African barred owlet, and the giant eagle owl we saw yesterday morning. But I think my favorite is a martial eagle. Just a beautiful big raptor, deep set eyes, piercing eyes. I really enjoy the martial eagle, but there are a lot of different little birds I like, so it's hard to say. But I think my favorite is the martial. Very regal looking eagle. All right, now it sounds like Taylor's managed to assemble her television to use as a monitor on the vehicle. Let's go across and see where she's going to go to.
Yes, I don't know how I managed to do that to the monitor, but I know that it's been coming for the last 8 months now. So I'm also not surprised, but rest in peace, Wendy's old monitor, who does not want to work properly. Well, we took Jiggers. Jiggers got sent back and it's gone straight into Wendy. This is how things normally work.
Yes, Monito's been traveling.
Yeah, it's traveled all over the country, all over into other countries too. So, quite interesting, Byron, that the marshal, M&M, is your favorite bird. Very cool. I didn't realize that. But, Sebastian, what's your favorite bird? Let's actually ask you that question.
I would say secretary bird,
Oh, snap. Okay, so Sebastian loves the secretary bird just like me. That's my favorite. I always forget. I think I change my answer about 100 times every time I get asked that question. What is your favorite bird? It changes, but the secretary bird is my all-time favorite.
Have fun.
Oh, that is so awkward. That is probably the most. That was the most awkward thing that's ever happened. Even more awkward than saying reproduce instead of reposition. That's so funny. Do you know how many times that actually happens? And I bet you're all sitting there going, oh my gosh, that happens to me all the time. When someone goes and says high five and then I don't know why I did knuckles. Right, let's start talking about animals, seeing as though we're on a safari show. Enough ridiculousness for one day. Let's see if we're going to put a bird on camera. I did say we're going to go toward Chitwa, so we'll definitely do some birding down there. Let's scan. Let's see who our first animal is going to be. We actually haven't seen anything yet this afternoon. It's been particularly quiet. I was enjoying watching the dam cam today. There was lots going on. And it was quite wonderful. As I was packing my room up, I had it going on, sort of just playing in the background, and I could hear every now and then splashing and things. I knew the elephants were obviously there. Ooh, yes, that sounds like a great idea. James, good thinking. You've said, seen as though we're going towards Chitwa, perhaps we could have a look at that gymnogene nest again. Most certainly. We can definitely do that. Hi. We better stop at our first animal of the day. It is the family of crested francolins. There's lots of them. They're just crossing the road now. You lot take your time. You know that. There's obviously no rush with you. You don't have to be anywhere. There was one francolin that kept looking left and right before it crossed the road, so I suppose that one's street smart. I'm just moving through the long grass at the moment, looking for things to eat. I'm sure they'll head to go and get some water at some point too. Trying to think where they would have to fly to drink, because even Chele Pan, I don't think there's any water left in Chele Pan anymore. Or if there is, there's very little. I'm going down into the drainage. And it's a better spot actually to go down there. It's hot in the sun. It is, from being quite chilly this morning to thinking that I might actually have to put some sunscreen on. What is the temperature today, Megan? I've completely forgotten. And 82 in winter. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. Isn't that so cool that we're still in winter? think I just need to go home. I don't know what's wrong with my language today. I'm so sorry. So I meant to say winter. I think it's because of all the accents that we do around camp. It's so terrible. We do not speak in a normal South African accent. We do every other accent that you could think of. We do in camp, and that's how we all talk to each other. Mainly South African Santon accent. Tristan, mate. Tristan's sitting in final control, and apparently he's talking like an Australian. It's the worst Australian accent in the whole world. So apparently he's doing that now. It's his favourite. He's actually really good at it. It's quite scary. Like when he talks like an Australian, you sort of look over your shoulder and you go, who's here? You have a viewer visit? Who's popped into camp from down under? And it's just Tristan. When I walked in there a moment ago, he looked very serious. Typing away, headphones on. He's obviously listening to what we've got to say now. So we'll definitely have a look at the Gymnogene nest. We're going to head towards Treehouse Dam. We're actually not far from the dam. I really hope we can see some elephants down there, because there doesn't seem to be much elephant activity here in the terms of footprints. There were lots and lots around Gallagher on Central, but as you can imagine, they all came down and had a drink, like I said earlier, midday. But then some of them crossed out. I'm sure there'll be another herd around. Hopefully when we get to Chitwa, we'll get a nice big herd coming down to drink, maybe even swimming elephants. How does everybody feel about swimming elephants? I say yes, please. That would be a fantastic day. I'm happy that the wind hasn't arrived yet. We're gonna get Treehouse now. We'll also show you how I have to try and protect Sebastian when he gets out the car next to a watering hole, because that sneaky Scuba Steve, the hippopotamus, likes to live at Treehouse Dam, and he must be the world record holder for hippos that can hold their breath for the longest, because that one, we were in the sighting, Ferg and I once, with the elephants at the dam, and it must have been 10 or 15 minutes, we just didn't see anything, and then the next minute all of a sudden this hippo popped up in the middle of the elephants. We thought, where did you come from? And he was there the whole time. He was just a bit intimidated. So we've got to watch out for him, because he could be quite cheeky, especially if he sort of came up to take a breath and all of a sudden he saw Sebastian standing at the water's edge. It wouldn't be a good surprise. And it's not a very big dam either, so it's not like you can swim far away from it. Stacy, I can't say your name normally, I'm sorry. It's just I don't know, maybe it is our friend Stacy from Joburg, but I don't know. But you're just going to have to deal with us calling you that. And you're wondering, when I get to Kenya, will I miss getting out of the car? Most certainly. I think the Askari is going to have to use his long stick to try and keep me in, or perhaps I'm going to have to tie a rope around my arm and tie it to the steering wheel, because I unfortunately will try and get out. So we've surveyed, there's no animals that we can see around the dam. Just some watch out, terrapin! They bite quite sore. You wouldn't want to get one of those latched onto your toes. So Sebastian's also going to tell me just not to reverse, because I'll be in his shot. Let me reverse now. Let's get that out of the way. See, I try and remember what he tells me every day, otherwise I don't want to ruin his 6-month log project. Can you imagine? He goes back and checks all the footage a few months later and he goes, Taylor, you ruined it all, Treehouse Dam, because you kept parking in my shot. 5 months of work. Can you imagine if I did that to you? I'd feel terrible. Beautiful though, out here. What we will do in a moment, when Seb gets back in the car, once he's finished this, we'll actually go up onto the dam wall, and because it's quite nice, there's a little spot in the corner. You can see, I'll just point to it. That tree over there is a nice fallen knobthorn. I think elephants obviously pushed it over. And there are lots of little birds that are bouncing around in there, and they come to the water's edge. There's even a squirrel that looks like it's having a drink at the moment. But we'll have a look at it. I really just want to jump onto the back there and start filming it. But Sebastian will smack my fingers like a naughty kid, and play with all the toys. I really want to be a camera woman one day, like just once on a drive. Camera woman. And just film and just see how terrible I actually am. I don't think I'd be very good. Imagine me trying to find birds. I can't even find them. I just boss and point there.
It's a photographer, you'll be fine.
Try to be a photographer. And normally I get nervous, so I close both eyes and then I just hold my finger down on the on the shoot button and hope for the best. Yeah, sometimes they come out okay. Not always, though. So Seb's back in the car, and then, like I said, we're going to go around. Actually, we won't move, because that's... Can we look at that squirrel before it runs away? I know you're still getting set up. Because it's so cool. You might actually be able to... no, I don't. It's that you'll have to put your binoculars up. He's just over here in the corner. Oh, he's just run. No, he might come back. I think he got a bit of a fright. A bird landed there. There's a couple sitting on the tree. Maybe he comes back. I don't think that squirrel really knows that we're here, because it wouldn't have gone down to the water's edge. Now you can imagine something like a zebra is nervous to come down and drink. And a zebra is not a small animal, but when you're the size of a squirrel, you really have to be careful, because you're out in the open. Lots of birds need to come and drink too. You're exposed not only from young leopards wanting a snack, but a eagle could quite easily come and swoop down and snatch you up. See, being very careful, standing up on its hind legs, just surveying the area. But I suspect that a little bunting, or perhaps even a group of waxbills, maybe just gave it a fright. Oh, look at that! I've never seen a squirrel drink water before. It laps it up. That's so cool. I actually don't know what I was expecting. I don't know why I thought they'd maybe sort of, put their lips to the water and suck it up as if they were sucking through a straw, but that's not the case. They lap it up. That's really awesome. Now, being a squirrel, you're quite lucky. You're very light, so it doesn't really have to worry about getting stuck in the mud. It's not really sinking. See, it wants to have a good drink of water, but I think it is a bit on the nervous side. Doesn't seem too comfortable. This is really amazing. And we wish we could have squirrel sightings on a regular basis, but they are just so quick. They always move in and out the trees when they've been spotted. But this one, like I said, it just doesn't know that we're here. It doesn't seem to be bothered that we are here. We're also on the other side of the dam, so it knows that we can't get there quicker. It'll be able to run off. Same shelter that the birds will be using, that sort of thorn tree. Or maybe it's going to go elsewhere. Seen as though there doesn't seem to be much pressure in the sky. I did scan around. I didn't see any little raptors about, and I'm sure as it goes through all that elephant dung, it might also check to see if there's any marula nuts, or if there's any seeds or anything that was left over that it could possibly eat. It actually blends in very well to that dung too, so a natural camouflage is what the squirrels have. They don't have any spots or stripes, or not the tree squirrel for that matter. There we go, and almost looking exactly like that golden grass. Goodness, you've come a long way for a drink of water, haven't you, squirrel? That was a big leap. That was a really nice sighting. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you, squirrel. Okay. Treehouse Dam hasn't really got much else to offer. If we get to the dam wall, we'll do that now, and I see all those waxbills and buntings come back, we'll definitely have a look at them. Let's go around. Whee! Okay, let's quickly get another look. I also must find out, did anybody manage to take any screenshots? The last time we were at Chitwa, it was that very windy day when there were sort of waves that weren't being created by the hippo, but they were created by the wind. And I said to you, I wasn't sure what swallows or they were. We'd obviously knew that the bigger ones that had quite a bit of red on their breast, they were the mosque swallows, but there were some that looked dark blue on the back and then completely white. And I said they might have been pearl-breasted, but I couldn't get a proper view. Maybe today will be a better opportunity. Let me just check in these sort of thickets if there's any birdies we can take a look at. No, I think they've all flown. They normally come down in groups, not necessarily, big groups of the same species. Well, in the waxbill's case, they will be, but they'll come at a little food party. And again, it's safety in numbers. It's actually better if they do that. But no one's here. A little bit sad. Right, well, that's a bit sad. Oh, well, next time, let's go to Byron. He's got his binoculars out, perhaps. He's going to tell you a funny joke.
No jokes just yet, Taylor. I'm looking for birds. I heard a spotted owl, but unfortunately it was a bit too far into the bush, so we couldn't see it. But this birding is a lot of fun at the moment. I'm trying very hard to get new birds I'm spotting as much as I can, but a lot of the birds that I've seen already. Sorry, Senzo, I was just scanning the tree. It's all birds like Burchell starlings, and there was some African green pigeons which we saw yesterday, but it's always nice to see them. They were up in another tree. Oh, there's some dwarf mongoose just scurried off into the thicket now. I wonder if we'll see them again. No, I doubt it. It's quite thick down here. There's a little one through there, Senzo. Can you get him? There's a little dwarf mongoose. Oh, they are so cute. I love seeing them. I really do. The wonderful thing with them is they're quite curious. Out of the mongoose species, these I can hear some green wood hoopers. Sorry, I was just listening there for a second. Sound like some green wood hoopers behind us. I haven't seen them yet. As I was saying, out of the mongoose species, the dwarf mongoose tend to be a lot more relaxed than the others. They're very curious little creatures, and they'll stand out and have a look at you. Especially if you sit quietly and sit very still. They tend to relax and move around and continue with their business. I know a lot of you are saying that they are so cute. They are. I mean, how else do you describe that? The beautiful, tiny little face, and especially because they are so small. Demonique, you say they've got such little ears. I suppose they do, but they're little animals, so that's why. They're very tiny. The dwarf mongoose, the smallest of the mongoose species. Mike, I wouldn't go as far as saying that mongoose are vicious, but they, together as a family, if they feel threatened by any predator, they can mob and chase a predator away. But it depends what it is. Now, I'm mainly referring to snakes. So the thing with the mongoose is, if they do feel threatened by a snake or anything, they'll work together, and they're very fast and agile, and they'll be able to chase, sometimes kill the snake that is in their vicinity. But I wouldn't go as far as saying they're vicious. I don't think so. Tristan was telling us a story yesterday, I think, about his brother who was attacked by a bush baby. So if anybody would find out if the mongoose were vicious, maybe it's Tristan and his brother. I actually had a good chuckle about them being attacked by bush babies. I've never heard of that before. So maybe they've had an experience with mongoose and found out if they are vicious or not. Andy, you asked, do all the mongoose have red eyes like that? No, I don't think so. Oh, sorry, Snazzy. Sorry. Snazzy, you asked if they've all got red eyes. No, I don't believe they do. Some have got darker eyes, some orangey color. I'm just trying to think. Let me see. I saw banded mongoose the other day, and they had dark eyes. It's difficult to see on this photo, but there we go. You can see, if you do have a close look there, you might see they've actually got slightly darker eyes, dark brown eyes, as opposed to those reddish eyes that we saw on the dwarf mongoose. So they're all slightly different colors. I think some of the, I'm just trying to think what the large white-tailed mongoose, what color those eyes are, because they are generally nocturnal. So I'm assuming they would be a bit different. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, it's also difficult to see. It's more of an orange coloration to the white-tailed mongoose, but it is difficult to see in this picture. Not quite that reddish color of the dwarf mongoose. Close though. Anyway, let us continue. See if we can find some more birds. But let's head across to Taylor, who's still at a dam, I believe, and I think she's got some antelope she wants to show you.
We've moved on from Treehouse Dam. We're now at Twin Dams, but we have a very sad sight, I'm afraid. This deer, it's not a deer. I was going to say this deer antelope, and I thought that's ridiculous. How can you can't do that. It's not right. It's the worst pun ever. So we'll just erase that. So it's a young Impala ram with an oxpecker on his body, but unfortunately it doesn't look like a very healthy Impala ram. He looks severely underweight, and he's walking very, very slowly as if he doesn't really have much energy to sort of, well, even put into his stride, which is a little bit sad. But this is nature, and this is one of those things, you know, if every single Impala survived, we'd have an overpopulation of Impala. So this could be a good opportunity for somebody like Tamba. He's not quite skilled in hunting yet. It would be a perfect target for him to go for. Shongile, Hosana, even if Tandi, Shadow come around. We know Shadow's injured. This would help her out. She's got a young cub. She's not feeling too well either with her injury on her paw. So potentially this young Impala could give its life, but for, well, the greater good. You can see it doesn't really even have much strength to shake that oxpecker out of its ear, which is clearly causing some annoyance. I don't know what it could be. I don't think it's that there's not enough vegetation around, because the rest of the Impala look really good. There must be an internal issue. I mean, I can't see any visible injuries. His coat looks fine. It's not like it's mange or anything like that. I'm not actually sure what it could be. Now, I have heard a few rumors that the animals are sort of getting blue-green algae poisoning. That can happen. Obviously, like I said, that this type of thing happens when there's not a lot of rain around and the water isn't being reoxygenated. It becomes stagnant. And blue-green algae poisoning, my goodness, I'm tongue-tied on all my words, can, of course, affect the animals. And I did hear that a zebra apparently died from it a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. So let's hope that that's not the case with this Impala. Could have some internal parasites, worms, something along those lines. They could also cause... And, the death of an animal if it becomes severely infestated with something like a worm. Different types of worms, tapeworms, roundworms, all these different types of things. And they're natural, of course. But like I said, the fact that he doesn't even have the strength to shake that oxpecker off of his body is a little bit concerning. So hopefully it is not a long time before he does pass on, or maybe he can make a recovery and come back from something like this. Very sad. Oh no, now you're going to be attacked by oxpeckers. Very busy. So that's another bird that we've seen. Oh, we're not doing too shabby. Right, but before Byron's bird flies away, let's go back across to him.
Well, now we've got a lovely bird, a purple roller. So one we haven't seen, one that I haven't got on the list yet. Always nice to see the purple roller. We often used to seeing the lilac-breasted roller. So this is a different species. You can see it doesn't quite have those vibrant colors like the lilac-breasted roller, but still beautiful to see. And white streaking down the front of the chest and the throat. Got a wonderful perch right at the top of that marula tree. Oh, now the question is, I need to ask, is do the bird calls count? If we can all hear it and identify it clearly, does that count as a bird for the list, or does it have to be seen? Oh. Let's see what the final control decides. Oh dear, Megan says it has to be seen. That's beautiful light on that purple roller. Megan says it can be half a point. That doesn't count. You can't have half a bird. Because the reason I ask, I can hear a orange-breasted bush shrike. Orange-breasted bush shrike. Something like that. But they're quite difficult to see. Judy, you know what? I think if we tried really hard and we really brushed up on our birding, we may get to 100, but it would be difficult. I know I did a birding day with some friends. Was it last year? I think it was last year. In the Timbavati, which is a lot drier than this area, so the bird life here should be a lot better. And we got, I think, 76 in one day, 76 species in one day. So, you know, yeah, 100 in winter, maybe. Just trying to think. That was over, was it April, I think. So there were still some birds around, some of the cuckoos and that. In winter it could be a little bit harder. Like I said, we might be able to see a lot of the little birds, but the thing is getting them on camera is very difficult. Taylor was talking about, or showed you that well, I wonder if it was an old Impala, perhaps. It's just possibly dying of old age. It can happen, one looking a little bit unhealthy. It's not always easy to see, but again, it was a young ram that, I wonder if it wasn't injured perhaps, or how it got hurt, why it's in bad condition. The thing is, we need to remember that, you know, there's an abundance of Impala around, and occasionally you do see sick animals or animals that have been injured, and they do die from that, but that's nature, and that's nature keeping a balance, the survival of the fittest. Right, now it sounds like Taylor's all the way in the south of the property. I wonder if she's heading to Chitwa Dam. Let's go find out. Oh, look.
I am going to the south of the sands. Now, I want to, before I even get any closer, I've just turned on to Chitwa, I want to play you something that Tristan sent me. Let's make sure we play the right voice note. Joking. Okay, it's this one. Are you ready? This is what Tristan has just sent to me.
Oh, Tala, you've really not done it very well at all. You need to practice on your Aussie. Being an Aussie yourself, you need to practice to sing your song and sing your words, mate. But we'll see you a bit later. Enjoy your drive.
That is Tristan. Can you believe it? Not an Australian, not one of my cousins, not a McCurdy, but Tristan. I've completely forgotten Tristan's second name now. Tristan Dix. Can you believe it? I was shocked when he started speaking like a proper Aussie. It's a very good accent. So yeah, very well done to you. I just wanted to let you hear that. And then also I need to go onto the radio. We'll do that all now, because I've lost the Game Drive radio. No, that's not. How did I lose it? Okay, we need to go to channel number 2. Let's go and see if anything is happening. Let's find out if the dam is open. That's the most important thing. But we'll go this way first. Dylan for Taylor. Are there any stations in the east that can copy me? I don't know what's wrong with my radio. I couldn't talk to anybody yesterday either. I mean, this morning, actually, not even yesterday. What we might have to do is, Megan, can you maybe do me a favor, seeing as I'm live? Can you please message Steph and ask him if the dam is open? Steph's the general manager of Chitwa. Thank you very much. That's very kind. So if we can't get hold of anyone and drive, what we do now is we just pop him a message, and then he lets us know if we can pop round to the dam. It's so beautiful. It's such a lovely spot down there, and it's going to be really nice. I'm hoping that we're able to go near room 11. That's my favorite room. And even though I've just only went there recently to have a look, it's just so peaceful. It's in the corner. There's not a lot of activity. You don't get the best view of the dam, but it's sort of right near that end spot. And you know, I love this corner down here, the eastern corner, where the blacksmith lapwings have all their chicks at the moment. There's often green-backed herons and lots of Egyptian geese, obviously. There's just lots of birds around them. And I think if a leopard were to come and drink from the dam, they'd probably come to this corner over here. I can't imagine they'd want to go and worry where all the hippos are. Byron has sent me an Australian voice note, but now I'm scared though to open it if I haven't listened to it first. We won't know. I'm too nervous. Can you please ask Byron if it is a censored voice note? Let's just be honest now. Byron says it's a clean voice note. Okay. Right, that means I have to take my phone off aeroplane mode and see if we can pick up signal. We'll have to hear what Byron has to say. It should come through now. That was very funny. Can you believe it? Do you see why I'm so sad? I'm very excited to go tomorrow, but I'm also very sad because these guys are absolutely hysterical. Okay, here, are you ready? This is Byron, so make sure the volume is up.
Oh, Taylor, mate, get off your phone and do some work, please.
That was a good one. Touche. Well played, Byron. Well played. Oh, great. And look at all the great news that I've just received. Chitwa Dam is open. Megan, thank you very much. You're very kind. So then let's start at my favorite spot then and work our way around. Hopefully here. Though I think the Chitwa signal is much better. Remember, 2 days ago, Byron actually climbed all the way to the top. He climbed up to the tower, not quite to the top. Actually, should we show them, Seb, how high Byron climbed? I think it's... Exactly. We'll just show you here quickly. While we're talking about climbing up that tower. See, that massive one on the left is the tower that Byron went up. You see that little... there's this tiny satellite at the bottom, so it's not quite all the way at the top, but Byron was up there. I actually don't know how high he must have climbed, but you can't even see the bottom because of all the trees, and those are tall trees too. They're not little short ones. They're huge. I was too scared. I was even nervous just looking at Byron climbing up there. I was broke into a hot sweat. Oh. Now I'm nervous again. But we're going to head down to the dam and hopefully do some birding. It seems as though Byron wants to do exactly the same thing.
Now it looks like we've got a flycatcher. Oh, it just disappeared there. Where did it go? Is that it there? Which little flycatcher is that? Oh. We need to find out what that one was. Hold on a second. I think it may have been... I think that was a grey tit flycatcher. That's what that is. That's, oh, wonderful. It's jumping around, but definitely the way it fans its tail a bit and lifts its tail up, the white markings on the wing, little slight white markings on the wing. It is a grey tit flycatcher. Is that it there? Oh, gone. But don't worry, that is what it was. And then a fork-tailed drongo. We haven't had that one on camera yet. So fork-tailed drongo and a grey tit flycatcher. Oh, I'm very happy about that. Megan, would you be so kind as to please add that to the list? Oh, this birding is... We're doing well this afternoon. Oh, 31. Racking them up. There was a common scimitar bull which was also sitting in the tree earlier, but we have seen them, so but it is always nice to see those common scimitar bulls. Beautiful, long, thin, curved beak, for those of you who have seen it with us before. Cape turtle dove that I spotted. don't we head around towards Sandy Patch? And you said if I could pull off climbing that tower that we had to clean up and do a bit of work on the other day, and you said if I can climb that, I can definitely climb a tree. Yeah, probably. I must admit, it didn't look that high until I started climbing up there. It was pretty high. Wonderful views though, but it was indeed very, very high. Now, I was listening to the radio and some updates. It sounds like they did see a female leopard on Torchwood. They're not too sure who it was. I think it was possibly Tundi from this morning that they found. And then, so it sounds like she's still on that side. And then there was a male lion found on Buffelshoek, so north of us. You never know, they could decide to move across onto our side, hopefully. Yeah, Taylor enjoyed my Australian accent. Emerald spotted wood dove. Let's try get that one. We haven't got that yet. Oh no. There it sits. It just flew onto that tree there. Did you see it, Senzo? You got it there? Hold on. Let me get a gap for you. There we go. How's that? Emerald spotted wood dove. Got it. Got it. Well done, Senzo. Thank you. Senzo's really quick with the birds. What is that? That looks like a starling. Now, which one is that? Let's see if it's the greater blue-eared. We haven't got that yet. Oh. Shall we just say it was the greater blue-eared? We haven't got it yet. I actually think it was the greater. I think it was the greater blue-eared. We've got the Cape Glossy starling and we've got the Birchall starling. Birchall starling's much larger, easy to identify. The Cape Glossy and the greater blue-eared look very similar, except the greater blue-eared has got a darker patch around the ear. So I do think that's what it was. It was quite quick. I think we can add it. I definitely think we can add it. So we'll put that on the list. Let's head across to Taylor. Sounds like she's down at Chitwa Dam now. So I'm very jealous. She's probably got a lot of birds down there.
We've got some cool things going on actually. Green-backed heron flew, but that's okay. Should we have a look at it, seeing as though it's out in the sun? It was sitting on one of its favorite branches. Everybody has moved around. There's an Egyptian goose walking behind the green-backed heron. They're around here. And then, should we have a look at Vladimir before he swims off? He's just, sorry, we're going to bounce just before the animals all disappear. Just to the left of the, or right of the island now. There he goes. So Boris was out in the open, not Boris, Vladimir. And unfortunately, he's not feeling on the brave side today because he swam away, as you can see. But we were very far away from him. I don't know why he was so nervous, because typically you can get so close to him before he even moves off, and we must have been about 50, 60 meters away. But that's okay. We have got many other friends to look at, and just on the edge as well is a pied kingfisher. Did you see it? Just on that branch. It's sneaky, isn't it? I only saw it as you were zooming out. I was like, oh, what's that? Beautiful pied kingfisher with a spear-like beak, and hopefully between the green-backed heron and the pied kingfisher we will find Sebastian. Look at the water monitors here. That one is being strange. Right. There's two. One has just gone in the hole. Sorry, I'll tell you why now. I've changed my mind why we're looking here. There's two water monitors. This one on the right is the smaller one. The other one went into the hole in the left. But what caught my attention was this water monitor was doing a behavior that I've never seen before. It was moving its head from left to right, but low on the ground quite quickly. I don't understand why it was doing that. It was also obviously poking its tongue out into the air, and we know that they pick up scents in the air, and that's how they sort of taste, if you will. And they've obviously got a very prominent Jacobson organ, which they use on a regular basis. vomeral nasal organ, if you must. And I wonder if it's not a mating pair. It'd be quite interesting. We are getting to that time of the year. I mean, crocodiles like to lay their eggs in October. I wonder if it's the same for the water monitors, which would maybe mean why they would come together and sort of doing courtship and mating. But very interesting. Hopefully the other one comes out again. They were very relaxed. I mean, again, we're not particularly close. But it was just so interesting. I've never seen any a beautiful big water monitor do something like that. But perhaps some of you have already seen it. Maybe you can help explain this behavior if you have seen that before, or maybe one of the other presenters have seen it and gave an explanation to it. Please let me know. #Safari Live on Twitter. That would be fantastic. Or you can comment away in the YouTube chat and we can figure it out. But I will try and do a bit of research when I get back to camp, and I shall also ask Tristan. He seems to have spent quite a bit of time with water monitors. There's lots going on. I really wish one of these birds would catch a fish now too. That would be the real cherry on top. It's a pity our crocodile also didn't stay around. There's the heron is back onto its perch again. It's obviously relaxed with us and didn't mind coming all the way back. Standing very, very still, knees bent, ready to strike, but also to hold on to the branch. It doesn't want to fall into the water once it's caught a fish. That's typically what they'll go for, but I was telling you the other day, they'll eat pretty much anything, from large invertebrates, I'm sure, to frogs. Wait, again, you see, I'm sure it's picking little insects that are sort of coming past off the surface of the water, because they're tiny. And to me, that just looks even too small to be a little fish, and it's not really sort of jabbing its beak down into the water. It's really just piercing the surface. So that's why I think it's maybe insects of some kind that it's feeding on. See, it's going to do it again. And that'll be time consuming, obviously, and I don't think it's necessarily energy efficient to constantly keep going for smaller prey like that, because you'd have to feed the entire day. But when you live out here in nature, you can only take what you can get. And if that means you have to catch 100 small things versus 10 big things to get your daily food requirement, that one looked a little bit more fish-like. That one actually looked like it had a tail. So maybe there's some little tilapia around here, or even little barbels that are swimming about and hiding under the shade of the tree, because that's typically what they'll do. They'll also hide on a hot day like this, and it's trying to catch them. Maybe the little insects are attracting the small fish. But this is cool. But we'll hang around here for a little bit. We'll see what other interesting things we can find. I'm going to send you across to Byron, and he's managed to locate the largest mammal we have in Africa.
We have indeed. It's a young elephant bull, and he just seems, looks like he is in a bit of must. Now, the must that these young bulls experience is not always as strong as the big bulls. However, he's not interested in sticking around for us. You can see he's moving quite quickly. When we arrived, or came around the corner, he lifted his trunk in the air to smell us. So he's clearly a little bit agitated, and I think that's possibly why he decided just to move off quite quickly. He's not feeding or anything, but it does appear as if he is in must. You could see him sweating from those temporal glands. That's a clear sign that the bulls are in must. Like I say, he still looks like a younger male. Doesn't look like a big dominant male. But you could just see his temperament, his behavior he wasn't very relaxed, and he just, by smelling us and deciding to give us a wide berth and just walk past, you could see he wasn't that comfortable with staying around. So we're not going to bother him. There's no need for us to try and follow him. We might find some more. I'm going to head down towards some water, and maybe we have some more elephant around there. Lisa, you said you were excited just to see even a small glimpse of the elephant. It's always wonderful seeing the elephants. I really enjoy it. Even a young bull like that is a little bit agitated. But you see, again, in that situation, I enjoy situations like that, and I enjoy having guests with me to show them, because We out here, we get a lot of wonderful elephant sightings where they're very relaxed and we view them from up close, really up close. But we tend to read their behavior quite well. So something like that, it's nice to see different behavior from the elephant. You get an idea of just as we approached, I could see he wasn't happy because he lifted his head, he's lifted his trunk into the air, he was smelling, clearly very curious about us, wanting to see what we are. Are we a threat? Are we a danger to him? And then you could see the signs, the sweat, or the testosterone. It's actually hormones that are excreted from the temporal glands, that liquid. So you could see that, so then you know that he's in must. So then again, just hang back a little bit, don't try and approach too close and agitate the animal. And we just stayed back and he decided to move around and move off. There's again no reason to try and follow and push the animal. Always remember, we need to have respect for the animals that we are viewing. So that was a lovely example of it. Just giving him his space and allowing him to move on. Well, let's head back to Taylor's still at Chitwa Dam, and now she's viewing some of the other large mammals we get here, but that live in the water.
They do live in the water, that's correct. You guessed it, we're with the hippos. There's a whole pod of them, which is quite nice. There's one slightly exposed, in an interesting position. I'm going to have my head under the water and just keep my ears out and sun the rest of my body. Nice shallow bank over there. It's a very popular spot for the hippos. And they'll do this all over the whole of Africa, really. They prefer to sort of rest on these shallow banks, and then when they feel threatened, they can just sort of drop off and, dive down deeper if need be. There's very few things that will mess with a hippopotamus. And one thing that I hope we get to see, hopefully I get to see it now before I go. I don't know if I'll see it in Kenya. I'm sure I could have a chance to see it in Kenya, but that is to see two hippos sort of charging at each other, or at least one charging towards another, so that I can show you the massive wakes that the hippos make when they move quickly on the water. Because remember, they will run along the bottom, and it's quite impressive to see that wake of water. It's not a small wake either. It will make you look twice, even when you're in a boat. It's so scary. I can't even tell you when you see it. I mean, we saw it lots in Zambia. Oh, hello, hippo. Open your mouth. That's perfect. Just a little yawn there. And that would be really impressive. There is so much conflict that goes on and around at Chitwa Dam, though, with the hippos. It's not a small dam. We were discussing that. We suspect that it is the largest dam in the entire Sabi Sand. I don't think I've ever seen a dam this large. No, there's none at Sabi Sabi, definitely not at Lion Sands. And I don't think either Londolozi, Singita, any of the places have a massive man-made dam like this. It's huge. It's really, really big. So there's a lot of space for the animals to move around in. But, of course, everybody's fighting for the best spot. And that's a good spot there. You're close to the water's edge as well. You can get out quickly. You can go and have a snack. It's not a particularly steep embankment. And then, of course, it's the ideal spot there is that shallow bank, so that they can actually rest with their heads above the water. And then we've got lots of other hippos that are all spread out all over the dam, and typically will be maybe young bulls, maybe the odd female here and there. But they're still quite relaxed for now. We got down to the dam a little bit on the early side. Normally I try to plan it that we come back a bit later, but we can always still do that. We can go and do a couple of loops, so perhaps from here we'll head towards the Gymnogy nest and we can come back at sunset. Beard, you say that they're not very streamlined for an aquatic animal. 100% I agree, but I suppose that's because they don't need to swim. So, I mean, we look at a fish, and of course, there are not too many fish that are, quite large around the mid-region. If you think about it, most of them are quite slender. I also don't know the marine mammals very well in terms of the fish, so I apologize if there is a fish that is large around the midsection, but I'm sure they'll still be able to move quite quickly. But, like I said, they're not really swimming, are they? When they're in the shallows like this, it is so easy for them to run on the bottom of the water. And they can move quickly. Isn't that cool? And ones to not really worry, not you have to worry about them, sorry. You don't want to just be too casual around a hippopotamus. This is so beautiful. It's so nice to be here when the weather is so perfect. There's barely a breeze. It's nice and warm. I'm surprised we aren't seeing more swallows and things around. That would have been really nice. And I'm also keeping my eye open. Sebastian, have you seen the fish eagle yet? Just down there. I'm watching it. It's being mobbed at the moment. I think by blacksmith lapwing. See it just sitting in the trees. And it's looking down at the water's edge. So I wonder if it isn't trying to use the trees as a bit of cover. And then it will swoop down and potentially it's going to catch a number of different things here. Fish, of course, they're specialists at catching, but there's also Egyptian geese around with young goslings, so they could be going for that too, or any unsuspecting bird really, especially if they're down on the ground. But it's still my dream. I have not seen a fish eagle swoop down and pull a fish from the water. I'm still waiting. I wish for that every single time that I come down here. So as we were watching the hippos, my attention was actually focused on the fish eagle because I don't want to miss it. Seb, have you seen it before?
Yeah, but long time ago, not since I've restarted here.
A long time ago, says Seb. Bill, you're wondering what is the difference between an eagle and a hawk? Well, typically the description, to be an eagle, you theoretically need to have feathers all the way down to your feet, so where your foot actually starts, well, not my foot, but the bird's feet. Except there, of course, the fish eagle is an exception, because if they had feathers on their feet when they tried to catch fish, you can imagine they'd just end up going beak first into the water. So it's not really suited to them, but they're still classified as eagles. And I'm sure there's some other things, but unfortunately I cannot remember. A hawk, it's got to do with size, maybe as well. Maybe they have to be a certain size, but I'm not actually sure. Tristan is sitting next to you, Megan. Megan, can we ask Tristan for some help? Because I don't actually know the exact differences between all of the different types of raptor birds that we get. Maybe Byron knows. Byron can also answer the question. Sorry, Bill. I've let you down on this one. I shall go and study up on that, I promise. Megan just told me to wag net 'n bietjie, to just wait a little bit. She actually said just hold on a second, but it sounds so much better in Afrikaans. Even the hippo exclaimed yes. But they're just relaxing. How many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 with the possibility of one holding its breath. So let's make it a round number. Let's say there's maybe 12 here. I suspect I've maybe missed one. So that's a nice size pod. And I would say that's an average size pod too, aren't you? Okay. So Tristan said that it's got to do with the size, their feeding habits, and the way that they sort of live. Those are the prominent differences, I suppose. But again, every eagle out here, especially in this area, they'll have a favorite type of food to eat. And like I said, in the case of an African fish eagle, it's actually quite varied. It's not as strict as their name suggests, which I find quite interesting. But that you really only learn from watching and seeing them eating different things, because you can speak to lots of people and they'll argue against you because they've only ever seen fish eagles eating fish. I've seen them scavenging, seen them catching all sorts of wonderful things. But I think what we'll do from here, I think we're going to move on just for now. We'll come back, I promise. I want to go and check out the Gymnogene's nest before it gets too dark, and then we'll come back to Chitwa for sunset. It sounds like Byron's arriving at Vuyatela Dam. Perhaps he's going to see some hardy-dars wading in the water.
Well, let's hope. For the moment, we've managed to find a giraffe. That is over here. And so we're just watching the giraffe for now. We might find some birds around here too. Just had to move off the road quickly. One of the other game drive vehicles just moved or drove past us. Let me try to get us a better position, better light for that giraffe. Hold on a second. Nice. There we go. That's a bit better. Always nice seeing a giraffe. A pity we missed him drinking. I wonder if he was drinking earlier. I think he must have been. Very nice big male. It's wonderful here. Oh, and look at that. There's also a zebra. So just walking across the clearing there, Senzo. Can you see him? Let's see if we can. The light is a bit difficult at the moment, but I know you've got filters in that which help on the camera. There he goes. Lone zebra. I don't see any others. That's nice. See, it's been a very warm afternoon, so chances of seeing animals in the clearings or close to the water holes are probably quite good. I suppose this looks almost like the Mara in that frame. Just, it's a pity there's only one zebra. We need a few more. Hey, Senzo, about 1,000 more. You can see as that zebra's moving, kicking up a bit of dust. It just gives you an idea of how dry it is at the moment. There's still lots of food around for the animals in that. Nowhere near as dry as it was last year, but you can just see. There's the dam cam. Oh, there's some birds. Just on the water's edge. Stormy Sea, you're a new viewer. Welcome. And always nice to have new viewers. You said that zebra looks too young to be by itself. It actually doesn't. It's a full-grown adult. It's difficult, though, to tell or to gauge an exact age for an animal like that. I wouldn't be able to tell. I would guess somewhere between 12 and 15 years old. It looked like a full-grown. Well, it is a full-grown adult, 100%. But it's difficult to gauge exactly how old it is, and you'll find there's possibly other members of the herd somewhere around. It is unusual to find a zebra by itself, unless it's a male. I couldn't tell from this distance, though. It looked, like I said, I didn't have a good look. But maybe males will move around by themselves, just like this male giraffe over here. But in terms of gauging an age, it's very difficult, very difficult. Now, there are quite a number of birds around here at the moment. Now, let's see, just at the water's edge there, Senzo. Can you see those? There we go. Taylor was right. We would see the hardy-dars, so we can add that to the list. Some hardy-dars. What else is around here? The light is very difficult at the moment for us, so what I'm going to do is let me move a little bit, because it looks like that whole herd of wildebeest, we actually saw them coming down, and now it looks like they're coming to potentially drink. That would be a wonderful sighting. Nice to see animals come down and drink. So I'm going to position this side of the dam, and we can look down, and then we might be able to see these animals come and drink. Let's see, that might be a bit better. How's that, Senzo? Is that a bit easier? Oh, much better, much better. And also we can do some more birding there. There is an Egyptian goose. We don't have that yet on the list. There we go, Egyptian goose, another one to add. Apparently, I've hit the 34 mark. We need to find a lot more, though. Let's see if these wildebeest come down to drink. Yeah, they're all heading straight down to the water. It's a very, very peaceful setting. And as I said, it's so nice to see animals come down and drink. A lovely reflection of that wildebeest. A scene like this is just beautiful to observe. You don't really have to say much about it. The Impala in the background there too. Look how excited some of those wildebeest are coming down to the water. See, they are still cautious. They still do have a look around. When these animals do drink, they keep their heads down, so they are slightly vulnerable. Ali, you were asking if the animals will possibly move towards Chitwa Dam, or if more animals would move towards Chitwa Dam because they know the other water holes are drying up. Yes, definitely. But there are still dams that hold water. I mean, we've got this Vuyatelo or Gowrie Dam. There is Treehouse Dam. There is Twin Dams. So there is still water around on Djuma especially. There's also Gallagher Pan on the other side of the camp. So there's water there. But in other areas, I think there's obviously water around Torchwood, I think. Water in Buffelshoek. And then water in Chitwa. So, Ali, there's actually a lot of water around. Water's not really an issue at the moment. So, Jenny, you asked when the dry season will end. It will be about November. We should start getting our first rains round about then. Oh, now we may have a bit of a standoff here because our giraffe friend is deciding to walk along the dam wall. Let's see. Have a look at that. He's just directly behind us at the moment. But he's come up onto the dam wall. And to be honest, what I'm going to do is I'll just see which way he wants to go. If he did take a few more steps this way, I would have moved for him. I think he wants to go down into that drainage line on the other side. And dear watcher, you saying you're loving this giraffe sighting. It is. It's lovely. And beautiful big male. Yeah, he wants to go down into that drainage line. It's a bit difficult for us to see now. He's directly behind us and that pole is in the way. Just trying to watch him now. He's going down. I don't know if we'll get him, Sensor. He's just in a difficult position for us, awkward position for us at the moment. Can you get him there? That pole is exactly in the wrong position. I do apologize, everyone. But because we're on the dam wall, I can't really move. Oh, there, you might see him now. There he goes. There he is. Just move down into that drainage line. He's behind that piece of wire. Anyway, he'll carry on browsing there. The wildebeest are still enjoying the water, or now the open area. They've had a good drink. Number of oxpeckers on them. Some of the oxpeckers also drinking water at the moment. We have got the red-billed oxpeckers on the list. That was actually the first bird we saw. That was a great stop. Giraffe, wildebeest, zebra, and impala. An abundance of wildlife. I always enjoy seeing the different species together or in the same area. I think what I might do is, it's been such a lovely scene, this, with all these animals coming down to the water and being around the water. But I think we might carry on. What I'll do is I'm going to then head down towards Twin Dams and Treehouse Dam, check the water holes, and see if we can't find some other animals possibly going to drink. Do you see something there, Senzo? The blacksmith lapwing, we have seen that already. That is on the list. But always nice to see them around the water holes. I think let us continue, and we're going to drive. And speaking of driving, Taylor's doing exactly that right now and driving into the golden sun.
Yes, we've just arrived at Chitwa Airstrip. We're not only driving in the golden sun, but we're driving in the dirty dust as well, because a very big bird has just landed on the airstrip. And we had to just wait for it to turn around. It's now going into its cupboard. It's hangar. It's obviously not a cupboard. Aeroplanes don't go into cupboards unless it's a miniature. But we're basically going to be heading now towards the gymnogene nest, which will be quite cool. We're not too far away from that, so we'll have a look and see what's going on. Hopefully the adults will be there today, or at least just one of the adults. It'll be, I suppose we'll discuss it when we get there, won't we? There's no point talking nonsense now and then they're not even going to be there. We're not far. We'll just jump into a higher gear so we get there quicker. And we will wave at everybody because we're polite. I think it's just the owner though, and Steph again. We're laughing because we're the first people that they saw this morning, and now they're the first ones again. Hey Seb. The last people. This morning, yes. There we go, the other way around. You should have said it. You said it much better than I did. I always mess things up. Again, now we need to concentrate. I reckon these birds up in front are a bit jealous. Yeah, you've got very small wings compared to that aeroplane. They're having an argument now. Oh, this could get quite good. Crested Franklins. Whee! Bit of a dispute going on at the moment. Declaring vocally that they're very unhappy with one another. Let's see if we can get another chase. It's always interesting watching birds fight. It's obviously very difficult to try and follow them. And there's two more. I think that might be where the action is. Isn't that amazing? I love seeing hornbills fighting. There they go. Back across the road. Making that nervous noise. So that's normally the sound that we hear when they've panicked and they've seen a predator. But now we know that they also make that noise after they have a domestic fight amongst one another. Off they go. Back across there. Obviously somebody got out of line and needed a bit of a hiding. And gone back to normal now. Thank you, Crested Franklins. Oh, we basically are unintentionally playing the Crested Franklin game today as well. It's our second sighting of them. Okay, we're almost at the nest, I promise. I can even see the Balanites tree from where I am now. Oh, I can see it. So it's just around the corner. It's a lovely day to sort of bumble, don't you think? It's pleasant. It's, like I said earlier, there's no wind. There's none of these things. These are the best days to bumble. And you actually don't need to see anything. It's so beautiful out here. It's actually breathtaking, especially if it's your first time. Oh, I heard it hardy-dar. That's not what a gymnogene sounds like. They better not be trying to steal the nest. Try and go in quietly again. See if I can try and spot the adults before I get too close and scare them away. I can't see an adult again. I can hear a hardy-dar though, that's for sure. No, there's no adults home. Interesting. I wonder where they've gone. Perhaps we just keep coming at the wrong time. Sebastian, do you think that nest looks like it's grown?
From the last time.
Yeah.
Really,
No, I don't really see any major sort of renovations happening. Like I said, I don't think that's the complete nest. It's not very big. They're not small birds. Excuse me, you're trying to talk about African harrier hawks here, not hardy-dars. I can't even see the hardy-dar. Oh, it's in the knobthorn. Okay, let me go forward to show you the bird, the hardy-dars. This is the hardy-dar perch. There's 3 of them. This is obviously where they're going to roost for the evening. I'm sorry, Seb, it's a very awkward spot to park. My humble apologies. Seb just needs to level out the camera. We've parked at a strange position, but there are 3 hardy-dars in this knobthorn tree. It's a good spot to roost. Not over there, that's a good spot to proclaim your territory too. But now it's stopped singing. Not that it has a beautiful voice, and it's going to preen its feathers instead. We'll keep coming back to the gymnogene nest, and hopefully we'll catch the adults. I don't know if they necessarily would have abandoned it. I reckon we just keep coming at the wrong times, and you can also hear a grey-headed bushshrike. You may hear that call as we watch the hardy-dar. It's not the hardy-dar making that noise. And they're beautiful birds. So only when, of course, the light catches their feathers do you see those beautiful colours, those iridescence, and sometimes it can be a little bit purple. Sometimes you see bits of green. Green and sort of the bronze is the normal colours, but every now and then I have seen some beautiful sort of purple colours coming off of their feathers too. Tony, you said that you love the name hardy-dar. It is a cool name, and a lot of the birds are named because of the sounds that they make, and that's exactly where the hardy-dar ibis got its name. There's the other one, feathers ruffling in the wind. It always just amazes me how sort of particular these birds are when it comes to preening. They do pay a lot of attention, and they're very delicate with their feathers too. I mean, when we watch zebra and wildebeest, grooming one another, they don't do it very elegantly. I mean, normally with it's a wildebeest, it's got its back leg stretched behind its ear and it's having a scratch, and then it's also biting another part of its body at the same time. Where the birds don't do that. They just look very poised, don't you? Now, a lot of you are probably disagreeing with me, especially because I'm talking about a hardy-dar. But they're lovely birds. This is so nice. So, well, I'm sure a lot of you are disappointed. We came to check the gymnogene nest, but instead we got hardy-dars. Well, that's all right. We need to start looking out for hardy-dar nests too, because those chicks are really not pretty. They're quite funny to look at, although no little chicks' nestlings are very pretty until they get their feathers. Now, Roshni, you're wondering if the male and female hardy-dars are different looking. I've never been able to tell the difference between the two, but what we shall do is I shall pop onto the trusty old bird app and let's see if they give any sort of specifics. There's some brown-hooded kingfishers that have joined us too. You may be able to hear them. And the very nice call that they have. Let's quickly just check if they do talk about... No, they just really talk about the adults. So there's no speculation or there's no sexual dimorphism, but apparently. Yeah. No, adult. I'm looking at the pictures too. They all just refer to all the pictures as adult and then juvenile, adult. So no, I don't think so. What you do tend to find, though, with a lot of the female birds is that they're often larger than the males. But again, that doesn't ring true with every bird species like it does with the African fish eel, which we have seen already. It does make sense, though, being a female bird, to be slightly larger. I mean, it's obviously you're the one that's producing the eggs. Using a lot of your sort of resources when you're coming into breeding season. It's actually quite tough. And then again, so the males, they've got to put their beautiful colours on, and then some of them grow extra feathers. It's very exciting. A flock of quailias just flew overhead. Now, I can see something else. I don't know if it's a bird or if it is... Oh, elephants! Never mind. Sorry, bird, whatever you may be. No, it's not even a bird. It's the part of the power line, I think. Hi, Ellies. That was nice. It's like we planned this, you know. Pulled an elephant out my sleeve. Fantastic. Who have we got? 2 young bulls, by the looks of it. Where are you going? The dam's that way. Oh, grumpy. Ears slightly flared. He had his tail slightly stiffened away from his body. We might have some troublemakers here, but not to be unexpected with young elephant bulls. Most of the time they're calm and relaxed, but sometimes they get a little bit out of hand, and then they need a stern talking to. And I always seem to give young elephant bulls stern talking tos on a regular basis and discipline them. Okay, let's follow them. They are going on a 2-track, but it's quite a prominent 2-track. So we'll go, and we'll see how long we follow them for. But if they decide to disappear into the bushes, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Where are you boys going? Why are you so nervous? It's okay, fellas. Even the mongoose, saw some dwarf mongoose, they ran for the hills, literally. He's not happy. He's a little bit nervous, this fella. So we won't actually bother him. I was saying this the other day, it's important that even though young elephant bulls give us a lot of grief most of the time, we need to pay them a bit of respect too. We need to respect all the animals out here. And if you're not happy, if they don't look like they're comfortable, there's no point in pressurizing them. You don't want them to have bad sort of vibes with the car. That's not the intention at all. So maybe we're not going to follow these boys because of the way that they reacted when I approached. And I was going very slowly. I couldn't have gone any slower. If I had, I would have stalled. And I wonder if it's not the... Remember we've had a couple of sightings with with 2 young bulls. What is that one just chased? Was it a... Let me just go forward just a little bit. This other bull sort of flapped his head towards the tree. I don't know if there was a big, rather large bird that was sitting in it. I did see a branch sort of bounce and move off. So, I'm going to try and guide you. You see these trees here? In the fork of that one, there's a little bird. I don't know if it's a little raptor of some sort. I think that's what he was going after. Actually, I'm just trying to see if I'm on the right branch. No, actually go down and to the left, to the next one, a little bit, go across. There we go. So go to there. Perfect. Oh, it's a squirrel. Ah, so I think it was a squirrel that it actually chased. That squirrel must have been out sunning itself. And that elephant... Oh, no, it wasn't the squirrel. It was an antelope. But the squirrel, I think, got a fright. It must have been on the ground, too. And then jumped up the tree because the nyala wouldn't make a tree branch bounce around like that. But sorry, there's actually an nyala that's just stepped out from out the thicket. Okay, let's... No, it's so thick. Okay, let me just reverse. I'm sorry about our elephant friends, everyone. But unfortunately, I just don't think they want to really be viewed today. But we had a quick view of them. Okay, right. While I do a 37-point turn, let's go across to Byron. It sounds like he's got a yellow-billed hornbill.
I do indeed. And a red-billed hornbill. 2 bird species in the same frame. There is the yellow-billed, and there is the red-billed. So that's 2 for the list. Fantastic. There's actually beautiful light on them right now. That one's just picking on some seeds in the shade. I think sometimes people take the hornbills for granted because they are one of the birds in abundance in the Greater Kruger area. We do see them a lot, but they're beautiful and they've got great characters. Megan says she thinks the hornbills look like pirates. Are you sure, Megan? Oh dear. It's never too early for cheesy jokes, eh? There goes a crested francolin. We've seen one of those already. I don't know why Megan says she thinks they look like pirates. Maybe with those the feathers that go halfway down the legs, perhaps. Where's the other one? The yellow-billed was closer there. Yeah. Like pirate pants, she says, the feathers down the legs. Okay, I can kind of see that. Maybe the way they hop around. Oh well, more birds to add to the list. That's great. It's nice to watch the hornbills too, hopping around looking for something to eat. Hello, little Tula Ann. How are you? It's always nice hearing from you. Tula Ann is 5 years old and she watches Safari Live a lot. And it's always nice. Did you see that? There was a little duiker that ran in front of us. Where did it disappear to? They often disappear very, very quickly. Now, Tula Ann, you asked if we see giraffe at night with the babies. We do, Tula Ann, sometimes. So we see giraffe at night and the young giraffe. But because we use the spotlights at night, we try not to shine the light on them. Their eyes are quite sensitive, so we try not to shine the lights on them, but we do see them. Sometimes at night we'll see giraffe moving around, but we don't always show them at night unless we've got the infrared on where we don't have a light on them. But yes, Tula Ann, we do see them at night too, moving around. All the animals are still out at night, Tula Ann. Some of them become less active, so they maybe go and rest in the open clearings for safety, but they are still around and we do still see them when we are driving around. Now it sounds like Taylor has made her way back to Chitwa Dam and she's got those large mammals in the afternoon light. Let's go and see what beautiful scene awaits us.
I think I have found one of the little hippopotamus that like to roam Chitwa Dam. You being a bit shy and cute, Mom's just close by. I actually thought they were young males initially, but I've changed my mind, seeing as though that little one has popped its head up. It's obviously Mom and youngster, and there's one more hippo here too, who has also gone quite shy and tucked itself underneath the water, but they're edging a little bit closer now to the edge of Chitwa, so they'll probably come out of the water at some point. And hopefully we get another opportunity to see those young calves playing either in the shallows or out on the island. That seems to be their favorite spot. That's quite nice. And I'm surprised that they're away from the main pod. That's quite unusual. Typically they're right in and amongst the others. So I wonder, maybe they just didn't have a little tiff and she's moved out to just take a deep breath. I wouldn't surprise me if animals need a break too. It's a very stressful life out there for them out here. But isn't this one so sweet? Not camera shy at all. It looks like it's actually loving the camera. In fact, it's looking at us. Very curious about what we are. Come closer. You can come right up, I promise. I'll even sit so quietly not to give you a fright. Probably have to do more convincing for a hippopotamus. Now, Roshni, you've said that it is so cute to see the size comparison. It is, it's really nice, but my favorite is when they come out of the water, when Mom is standing, or a little one is standing next to Mom out of the water, then you can really see, and they're funny. You can't help but giggle at a hippopotamus, especially once they're showing their little stubby legs. It is hysterical compared to the rest of the size of their body. They really look out of proportion, but they can move, and that's what the most surprising thing is, and And I understand why people, when they come to South Africa or other parts of Africa, and they say it's impossible. How can that animal be the most dangerous animal in the world? Well, in Africa, not the whole world, but in Africa. And obviously I'm talking about mammals, not bringing mosquitoes into this. And when they run, when you see them running for the first time out on land, even as a guide, I was really, really surprised. I thought, wow, my goodness, you really don't want to get into the way of one of those animals. Come on, you're mouthing the water. I know you want to open it and show us your little gums. I don't know if this one is quite starting to develop its teeth yet. It should. Maybe not its tusks just yet. Is Mom coming back? Lara Moore, you've said that hippo's eyes looked so direct. They do. They have to be up top there, though, for the way that they're designed and for their habitat. It's actually perfect. Their eyes, ears, and nose. And James's drone. Now I'm thinking of the drone for some bizarre reason, has drawn a beautiful image before showing you how the ears and the eyes and the nose are on a very similar plane. And it's so that they don't have to unnecessarily expose their body to the harsh African sun. Obviously, like I said, it's very hot out here constantly in this area. And they can just pop their nostrils, eyes and ears out all at the same time. And they can be quite nervous. Hippos. Oh! Look who joined the party, oxpeckers. Oh, that's always a welcoming sight. We've seen lots of them today. That's very nice. They also prefer to use the hippopotamus to land on so that they can drink easily from the water. And as you can imagine, there are not going to be many predators that tries to snatch a oxpecker off the back of a hippo. I could not imagine many birds being brave enough to do that. A good spot, right? Not wasting any time, just popped in for a quick drink and off they go. Maybe there's some sport on that they're going to catch. But there's our little sweet hippo. Yes, open your mouth. Show us. You want to. What are you chewing? As a very sweet little hippo. Jackie, you're wondering how long can the hippos stand water for? Well, typically... She wasn't too sure about that. Oh, little one's not too sure about that either. Going back for more, careful, that little one's going to eat you. No, it's not going to eat the bird. Don't worry, I'm just talking nonsense. So, Jackie, they typically can hold their breath for about 6 minutes or so. However, I'm starting to sort of doubt that after that sighting that Ferg and I had with the hippos and the elephants. We were actually talking about it earlier. But I think what just happened there is Scuba Steve is a professional at just poking his nostrils to the surface of the water. Sometimes you don't even know that he's come up to take a breath. And especially with the elephants splashing about in the water, creating waves, it could have quite easily concealed that hippo, and that's why we didn't realize. So it's for about 6 minutes, but that's a long time. That's awesome. You're going back to sleep, little one? I hope not, because this is the time to get active. The sun's going down, it's getting cooler, and I'm sure your tummy must be rumbling for some grass. Isn't that so precious? We will go around to the main pod. Actually, let's do that. Oh, I'm thinking, but I know this little one, what's going to happen is when I turn the car on and drive away, it's going to get very excited. You're going to go around to Mom now. It looks like it's slowly walking. It's very shallow there. And I've also spotted the Egyptian geese family and the goslings. Should we have a look at them? Because I was watching them the 2 days ago from the deck, and they were very sweet. You can hear an Egyptian goose calling too. That's quite fitting. There's Mom and Dad with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think I counted. And you saw how protective those adults got, just as that other Egyptian goose wasn't even coming into land or to cause any trouble. It was merely just flying overhead. But coming off strong, letting everyone else around them know, don't come near us and our family. There we go, there's a couple more. Oh, you be very careful, Blacksmith Lapwing, taking on an Egyptian goose. I think you will find yourself short there if you challenge them. Very protective parents. See that, keeping an eye out on that lapwing. Just making sure, right, put my head down and graze. So here we go. Here you can see one of the many ways that Egyptian geese will sort of feed. One of their favorite things is, of course, to graze out on the open and eat all that lovely green grass. And then when they're in the water, they also do a little bit of sort of filter feed. I suppose filter feeding. They're just collecting all the microscopic organisms that are living in the water. But aren't they so precious? It almost looks like they've got eyes on their backs. Snazzy, you're wondering if Byron and I can take you fishing on a game drive one day. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, unfortunately, if we were to catch any fish out here, it would have to be catch and release. I'm sure that would be a policy with Wasabi Sand. It's what we had to do in Zambia as well. We had catch and release all the fish. And I don't know, there'd be some really big barbel in here, which would put up a bit of a fight. There's lots of tilapia, Mozambique tilapia. They're very pretty. In fact, the males actually go beautiful colors. Get some greens on them, a bit of red. They're lovely. I was actually watching them when I was up at Mapungubwe. There was a pond that was quite sort of clear, just sort of drying out pool from the Limpopo River. And it was really amazing, in fact, to see them. I was just watching them swim round and round and round, and I was looking with my binoculars at the beautiful colors of the males while they was happily swimming around in the water. Just trying to think. I've seen, Seb, I know it's a hard term, but I have seen some African hoopoes, which we haven't seen for a while. They're bobbing on your left over your shoulder. You might be able to see them just off of the road. I can reposition for you. Let me turn. Let's do that. Let's see if these hoopoes don't fly away, but they're also in the lovely light. It's so nice. I'll just turn the car like this. Hopefully don't drive into anything because I'm not really watching. Just so you just see them flutter. Probably a male and female. There's a pair of them. Where did they go? They're there. A little bit to the right. There we go. They were just on a little bit further to the right. Bobbing up and down, probing the ground. They are beautiful birds, and I'm sure Byron... Has Byron seen the African hoopoe? Just obviously he's seen them, but I don't think he's seen them since Brent has issued his challenge. This is why I said I wanted to donate birds to him, but I was told off by everybody that I'm not allowed to. Isn't this sweet? Now, I wonder if the African hoopoes, the males, present the female with a prenuptial gift. Shall we have a look? I'm not actually sure. I haven't really seen much of a courtship display before with African hoopoes, so it would be a learning curve for me too, but let's go and have a look. Hoop, boop, hoop, boop. There's another bird that gets its name because of its call. Let's see what they say about breeding. We know that they use natural cavities to nest in. We definitely know that. Movements, habitat, foraging. Here we go, breeding. Let's see if they say. What do they say here? I think he might just entice her with his beautiful feathers. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about just typical, obviously, fluffy male fluffing himself up, following the female around. But it doesn't say anything about courtship feeding. Interesting. Well, that's quite cool. Nice to know that they don't do it, but I suppose he doesn't need to. Look at those beautiful feathers. Now, something exciting sounds like it's developing back towards Djuma, so let's jump on board with Byron, who's pretending to be a race car driver.
All right, now we got an update. It sounded like there's a female leopard who crossed onto Vuyatela, onto our side. However, it's close to the gate and no one's in that area, so I'm trying to get there quite quickly. The chances of finding that leopard again are quite slim, but we're going to do our best. So I'm trying to race through there as quickly as possible. I don't always like racing around through the bush, but something like this when there's no one else around, so if she has crossed, if we don't get there quickly, we might just lose her and not see her at all. So I'm going to try and get there. I don't think there's another car in that area, unfortunately. But that's exciting. I'm hoping we get to see a leopard. Apparently not too far from the gate. Yeah, so let's hope. I'm going to try my best, everyone. Would be great to have a cat this afternoon. And I think I'm owed a leopard actually. I haven't seen a leopard for quite some time. So, so very possibly we might get to see one. It's quite windy now while I'm driving, obviously. Angeline, you say you hope it's Shungile. Judging by where it is, I don't think it will be that leopard. Now there's another vehicle approaching, so I just want to pull off a little bit and get them to go past us. Maybe I can get an update from them. I'm just going to ask them and see, maybe they saw it. Peter, how are you? How's it going, everyone? Did you see that leopard? No.
No, I did not.
No, okay.
Well, go there, I'm sure.
We're going to try our best. Let's see.
Okay, lucky man.
Enjoy. Good luck, everyone. Bye. All right. They didn't see a leopard either. So well, let's try and see. This is all right. Well, I'm getting closer to that area. Let's go back to Taylor, who's got a bird in a tree at Chitwa Dam, and hopefully I'll have some exciting news soon.
We do have a bird in a tree. It is a fish eagle. I'm not sure if it's the same fish eagle that we saw. It could be the partner. And it's all fluffed up. What are you going to do? Where are you going? Are you going to fly? Did you just get a bit of a chill down your spine? What a beautiful bird. Let's see how good my Egyptian, I almost said Egyptian, because for the moment when I looked at it like that, it actually resembled an Egyptian vulture with that very white sort of head and of course the yellow facial plumage. It is missing a couple of long sort of stream-like feathers coming from the top of its head. But let's give the African fish eagle a call. Worst African fish eagle call in the history of African fish eagle calls. I'm quite confident in saying that. It is a hard call to master. Actually, I think I said that I was going to try and do the African fish eagle call as many times as I could on drive, because someone's parrots were starting to learn the bird calls, and they know the pearl-spotted owlet call, and I just think that that's hysterical. So imagine if we could teach your parrots to do the fish eagle call. That would be amazing. It would be really beautiful if it did decide to give us a call now too. Ooh, hang on, we might have frisky hippos. Fish eagle, I'm going to draw your attention away very quickly. Let me reposition completely for you, Seb. I'll poke the nose in front of the dam. I just saw one hippo try and mount another, so I wonder if it's a male and female. Let's have a look-see. Or they could just be two male hippos playing around. That's also a possibility. But the two of you just look way too cozy for my liking. Don't you think? Now, they mate in the water, but they typically give birth out on land or in the very shallow water. Let's see what's happening here. Oxpecker also come in. That's awkward. Now, it is also normal to see hippos resting their heads on one another. That's also a common sight. That's normally how they end up sleeping. And keep their heads above the water too. But let's see what happens here. It's very difficult to tell male and female apart when they are in the deep water like this. Males are much larger than the girls. I'm just trying to stay. I can't really see the big dominant bull in the main pod either, unless he's got his head underwater. But there's another hippo that's slowly, very, very, very slowly making its way over here. So we'll see if the one at the back starts acting a little bit on the aggressive side, then perhaps it is a female. You're just having a sleep, aren't you? And I don't know where our crocodile went. We also saw Boris, by the way. Borissa. What else the names did we give her? But she's down in the corner where the fish eagle was. She was looking for a spot to rest, I suspect. maybe I'm mistaken. They look fairly sort of same size. Perhaps they're two just juvenile bulls that are just on the outskirts of the main pod. That could also be another thing. And maybe you're gonna have a game here now, because that other hippo's making its way straight towards these two. Let's see what's going to develop. Oh, there's another one coming. They're all coming over here. I think also Mom with the little ones is making her way this side. I think that's a little hippo. Yes, there they are. Look at them. They can't get enough of the camera this afternoon. They've come around for the corner. They move quite quickly. We haven't been gone for too long. You can see Mom's able to walk. Do you see that? So just keeping her head above the water and probably standing on her tippy toes. And the little one, unfortunately, struggling a little bit, so it goes down and up. Well, maybe it's a little bit shallow there. I'd love to know sort of how level this ground is down here. I'm not brave enough to come and take a swim in Chitwa Dam, though. Seb, would you swim across here? If I offered you R1 million, would you swim the length of Chitwa Dam?
Yeah, the problem is I won't be able to spend R1 million.
Seb says he wouldn't be able to spend the R1 million. It would not be advisable to swim the length of Chitwa Dam or the width of it. I don't know. Yeah. I think a crocodile is obviously a big threat. But I mean, I don't know if they've ever eaten a person before. Hopefully they haven't. But the likelihood is, well, there could always be a chance. Remember, crocodiles do see humans as food. There are only a couple of animals that actually see us as prey. Remember, polar bears and crocodiles. So that's why you don't want to take a chance with a crocodile. Even though they're not particularly big crocodiles, I'll tell you right now, they'll be a lot stronger than you and I could ever be. Hippos, however, would be my main concern, just because there's so many youngsters out at the moment. And I've seen how quickly they can move. I've seen the damage that they can do when you're in a mokoro or a canoe, even to an extent in a speedboat. They cause huge damage. So for me, I'd be like a little pretzel. We don't want that to happen now, do we? No conflict, I'm afraid. No action. There's also not a bad thing. Everyone's very peaceful at the moment. Are you coming over to say hello, little hippo? Look, they're coming closer. Please don't charge us. Let's see what's going to happen here. This looks like a younger hippo. Please don't come over here with Mom, because Mom's not going to be happy. Leopard lover, it's a bit of it's a sad question, actually. You're wondering if hippos ever drown while mating. I've never seen it happen, but you never know. These males, like I said, the males are much larger than the females, but again, they can hold their breath for quite some time. So I don't think there's definitely always a possibility, but whether it's a common thing, I doubt it. I don't think it's particularly common. No, I'm not even going to comment, never mind. I was just digging a hole for myself, so I'm just going to avoid that. That's the end of that conversation. I'm done. Who's going to give us a snort? It would be nice if we could have the fish eagle call first, and then if we could have the hippos sort of chiming in afterwards as well. That would be lovely. In an ideal world, of course. I can't believe how sort of well behaved everyone's being this afternoon. We'll maybe stay with these hippos for a little bit longer. The little ones are creeping closer. They're quite curious. I'm interested to see what happens. Let's go across to Byron. He was rally driving. I wonder if he's found that leopard.
Unfortunately not yet, but we're looking very carefully, trying to see if we can find tracks where this leopard crossed exactly, and then we might get a better idea. It's so difficult now because she went straight through the bush, so I don't know exactly where she crossed. It's difficult. Obviously this road is quite busy. Just have a look around here. I might just cut off through the bush. Judy, all the way from Texas. Hello, Judy. You asked if leopards eat guinea fowl. Most certainly they do. They do indeed. So I'm just having a look here, Judy. Yeah, leopards will eat many different ground bird species. I can't see any tracks of a leopard around here. I'm just going to drive through the bush now and see. Maybe we spot something. We're starting to lose light too, which will make it even more difficult. And maybe we get some view or some sign of this leopard. So Judy, yeah, the leopards will definitely eat francolin, guinea fowl, all those ground birds. They'll definitely hunt. Keep scanning carefully, Senzo. We'll see. Hopefully we find this leopard. This is very exciting, but it's also it's a little frustrating knowing we were so close. A little steenbok just ran through there. I don't see any sign of a leopard walking through here. I think that steenbok ran from us, not from a leopard. Oh, she could have gone anywhere, that's the thing. Let's have a look down here. Come on, I'm sure. Sorry, Megan, read that question again, please. Gary asked, how common is it for a leopard to hunt where? Oh, in a tree. Okay. Well, Gary, see, with the birds, like the guinea fowl and the and francolins and that, it would hunt them on the ground. It wouldn't need to go into a tree to hunt them. But I've seen a leopard jump into a tree and catch a monkey. I've seen it myself. An incredibly fast leopard. I mean, to jump into a tree and grab a monkey needs to be very fast and agile. But it's not something that they do very often. Not at all. They prefer hunting, obviously, on the ground when they can stalk and get closer to their prey. Oh, this is like looking for a needle in a haystack. It really is. But we're not going to give up. See, I also don't know if she crossed this main road, the main access road. I have to have a good look around here. Let's see, maybe we get tracks of her coming out somewhere. Now the difficulty is only 2 pairs of eyes scanning around, looking for tracks, trying to find any sign of this leopard. Okay, I can hear rattling testicular. See, I'm going to use every little tool we have. So, birds. Vishkal, new viewer, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Safari Live. Great to have new viewers with us. You asked how long the live stream is. Well, every day for 3 hours at a time, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon for sunrise and sunset drives. So you've still got about an hour with us, which is great. And you've joined us at an exciting time because we're looking for a leopard. Oh, come on. I'm going to be driving up and down here a few times just to make sure we don't miss anything. I haven't seen a single track, so I don't know if this leopard has come out the bush or if she's still just walking through the thicket. Alright, well, let's head back to Taylor with the hippos at Chitwa Dam. I'm going to carry on looking around here.
Byron, We better find that leopard, otherwise no dinner for you, I'm afraid. We're still with our hippos. We're with the youngest hippo calf at Chitwa Chitwa Dam, who seems to be the most playful this afternoon, and hopefully this little one will continue being playful. It keeps opening up its mouth, climbing over on Mom's back. It's all very entertaining. But if we don't really know where to look, we want to look at all the hippos, because then these ones start moving around and we think, oh, we're going to see action here, we better come back here, and then they're quiet, and then there's action on the other side, and we've got to quickly pan across. It's all too much. I just wish the two young hippo calves would meet up and play. I wonder if they, when they see each other, if they get excited. Oh, there we go. Hello, hippo. Can you turn this way, please? Lots of muscles on the back of their neck. Did you see that? They're all waking up now. This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, look at there. There's a, looks like a male. He was going to do a territorial display for us. No, maybe not. And typically they will do that. They'll raise their bottoms into the air and they will defecate and whip their tail back and forth, not their hair. And normally you'll have two bulls doing that. It's actually an amazing sight to see, and they come together because their boundaries and their they're not their boundaries, but their territories not necessarily overlap, but they sort of come up one against each other. And often once a day they'll meet, sort of share their stories, make sure that, of course, no one's being naughty and trying to come across to that side or try and sneak a female from his pod, and then it's fine. Then they go about their separate days. So they can definitely have peaceful encounters with one another. See, that little one is very cute. It just wants to play. And you all know what it's like, especially when you were really young and you got to spend some time in a swimming pool. How even we as humans like to porpoise up and down. Hey, isn't that funny? Pushing right from the, well, sinking first, then pushing from the bottom and trying to jump out as high out of the water as you possibly could, and then flopping back down again. Well, my brother and I used to do that a lot. Oh, you can hear the hardy-dars too. They're actually flying this way. We might see them. Oh no, they're landing on the island. Hear the buffalo weavers. Of course, we could hear the hardy-dars too. You can hear the splashing of the hippos. What a great dam this is. Definitely full of life. I think if I was guiding out of Chitwa Chitwa Lodge, or if I was still taking guests on safari, I would quite easily come and sit here for an entire day. Or at least do one of my drives just surrounding the dam, actually watching and observing everything that goes on. Because it's a lot to take in to rush from sighting to sighting. You really don't get to enjoy the animals or really learn much about the animals. But like I said, unfortunately, most people that come to Africa for the first time, it's all about getting that shot. And then only the second or third time that they come to, they really start appreciating what nature has to offer. Oh, that pod is getting quite rowdy over there now. Look at that. Oh, opening its mouth again. They see they're all starting to open their mouths. Perhaps we need to go around that side. I'm just thinking what's going to be the best spot now. No, I think we're in a pretty good spot. You can see them all. The next one's going to open its mouth just to the left. It's contagious. That yawn. Open and stretch your jaw. I mean, you know what it's like when we open our mouths wide. When you do a yawn, how nice, sort of good you feel. Imagine when you've got a big jaw like a hippo, stretching and opening your mouth quite wide. That must be a very nice feeling. And now they've settled down again. I actually miss hearing the sounds of the buffalo weavers. There are some that live outside my room in the fever tree, but they haven't really been making too much noise. Oh, sweet. What are you going to do? You're going to come this way? Try to splash about. Oh, I thought we were going to really see some action this afternoon. It seems as though we've spent so much time at the dam. But perhaps that is not the case this afternoon. Mum, you're just having a little bit of a break. Just taking it easy. That's a funny shot. That's really funny. There we go. Trying to climb up, nudging Mom. Aunt Jo, you're wondering what is my favorite thing about a hippo? That's a good question. What is my favorite thing about hippo? I don't think I have one favorite thing. I like them for everything. Their very tiny ears that make them look a little bit like Shrek. Their bulgy eyes and their big nostrils. I love the way that when they reach the surface of the water, they snort, or when your calf bites your bottom or your tail and annoys you and you have to spin around in circles to try and chase it away, as this female's doing. I love that too. I love the sound that they make. I love it when they open their mouths and show their big teeth. I most certainly love it when you're able to watch a dispute among two hippo bulls and see how powerful those creatures really are. So, Aunt Jo, there's not really one thing that I just like about hippos. I love all of them. I even love their stumpy legs and their tummy that almost touches the ground. But one thing I don't like, though, is the smell of hippo dung, that's for sure. Now, Stevie, you're wondering if there's a reason why they yawn so much. So, it's quite typical for hippos to do this at this time of the day. They're just starting to wake up. Normally, an open mouth like that is a threat display, just letting everybody know in the area, look how big my teeth are, I can open my mouth very wide. You don't want to mess with me. But at this time of the night, they don't really seem to be doing it threatening. However, that snort that we just saw, there we go, that was a perfect example of another form of a threat display. I'm going to snort and expel water from my nostrils and try and make myself sound scary. And then I'm going to raise myself out of the water and porpoise. And then that normally does the job and will chase away any intruders. But unfortunately, when you're the size of this little calf, look, he's trying to be very intimidating. You are not scary. However, I'm scared of your mother behind you. Yeah, it's deep there. You're struggling to stand. I can see that. Let's see if it's going to come again at us. It's cheeky, this one. It's getting older now. Oh, that's so funny. It almost looks like they're smiling. Isn't that sweet? Giving us the blue steel. I think it's realized that, unfortunately, that intimidation method was not working. Right, as that little one ducks under the water, let's go back across to Byron. I'm sure he'll be waving his spotlight around soon, looking for the reflection of Leopard's eyes.
Well, indeed, Taylor, soon. I'm just... unfortunately, we were just, it's frustrating. Let's put it that way. It's frustrating. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to drive around this area, probably until the end of drive, if we don't find this leopard. But no sign, absolutely no sign of this leopard at all. I've checked the roads carefully. I've tried to look for tracks. I think it might have just stayed heading through the block and didn't cross the road, but I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. But we're going to keep scanning, keep looking. Aladina, welcome to you. You're a new viewer. And again, we've had so many new viewers. That's awesome. Hang on. Yeah, leopard tracks. Okay. Let me just double check here. On a second, I want to just have a look around here. So Aladina, you asked how do we see the leopard tracks? Well, Aladina, what we do is obviously driving, it's difficult to sometimes see the tracks around, but what we look for is prints in the sand. So prints in the sand, they're a little bit easier to spot in soft sand, but that's what we try to look for. There's a bit of an open clearing. It's not quite bright enough. Tennis, all the way from Canada. Good evening, Tennis. You asked, what is my favorite thing about the Sabi Sands? Well, Tennis, this part of South Africa, the Sabi Sands, for me, it's probably, I definitely think it's got some of the best game viewing in South Africa. I do think so, without a doubt. Not just South Africa, but the Sabi Sands is, there's a huge abundance of wildlife. So, I mean, everything from leopards to lions to buffalo to elephant, but a lot of various antelope species. There's actually a lot going on in the Sabi Sands. There's hippo, there's crocodiles, the bird life's amazing, beautiful lodges, you know, so it has so much to offer, I think, to be honest. Oh, now I'm trying every little thing to find where this leopard went. Izzy H, apparently you waving the pom-poms around to cheer me on. Well, thank you very much. You don't perhaps have some lucky beans too that you can throw around? Because I think I'm going to need all the luck I can get to find this leopard that has disappeared. Ah, come on. Oh well, oh well. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And that's why it is so special when we do have our wonderful leopard sightings, because you can see how easily they can just disappear, where you won't see a single thing. Wonderful sweet smell in the air at the moment. I'm assuming it's from a lot of flowers that are on the trees. Also a lot of flowers on some of these magic quarries at the moment. I'm going to turn around again and go back. I'm not going to leave this area. Chandler, you asked how many leopards live in the Sabi Sands. I don't know what the number is at the moment. I have no idea. I would guess somewhere in the vicinity of about 50 to 60 leopards, probably. I wonder. Within the entire Sabi Sands, maybe more. I would guess somewhere around there. Okay, Tristan thinks probably more. Tristan thinks up to about 100. He just mentioned that in the final control now. I think Tristan's wrong. No, I'm joking. I can say that now because he's not on drive, so he can't argue with me. I'm joking, Tristan. I trust your judgment. So Tristan reckons about 100 perhaps. I wouldn't be surprised. I remember oh dear, Tristan said he stole my car, and good luck finding it. Thanks, Tristan. So I remember one year at Londolozi we had about, I'm trying to think what it was now. I think well over 20 leopards that we used to see on Londolozi. It was like 26 or something like that. Resident leopards around Londolozi that we recognized and were able to view. So that was just in that area. Now the Sabi Sands is huge, 60,000 hectares, or roughly around 120 or 130,000 acres. So it's a massive area. So I'm sure there are a lot of leopards around. There's definitely a very high leopard density in this area. That's why the leopard viewing in the Sabi Sands is so great. Well, not right now, but it will get better. Let's head back to Taylor and see if she's left Chitwa Dam yet.
We have left Chitwa Dam. I'm sorry, I just got something in my eye now. My other eye, my good eye. I don't know, I'm terrible luck. Easy at safety glasses. What I was going to say is we have left the dam. We're on Cheetah Cut Line now. I think we're going to go the length of Central. So we're going to take our next left. Perhaps we'll go up Gari Cut Line. I haven't quite decided just yet, but we're going to be making our way sort of that side. I haven't really heard much on the Eastern Channel in terms of sort of updates. I did bump into Peter and some of my friends, Joel and Gary. We said hello to them, but there wasn't many updates by the signs of it. I did hear, however, though, that there were wild dogs apparently in the west this morning, which makes sense, because remember I said to you that there was no one in the east at one point. There must have been something exciting happening down in the west, and it was the wild dogs. So I don't know if they're around again this afternoon. I haven't heard anybody saying anything about them, but maybe tomorrow morning they decide to pop past and pop through Djuma. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I'd love to see wild dogs again before I go. It would be really nice. They're such amazing animals. You really can't get bored of them. You can't get enough of them either. Right, spotlight out. Let's see. I would really like to find a chameleon. That would be the ideal situation. Ooh. John, you're wondering what animal do I want to see outside of Africa that I don't want to see? Now I've got to think about this, because I was going to say a shoebill stork. That's my, like, on top of my list of things to see. Outside of Africa, again, I want to see the okapi, and that's in the Congo. You stumped me, John. I would like to see sloth bears in Sri Lanka, please, and thank you. And pangolins or armadillos. I'll quite happy to see an armadillo in the great land of America. And what else do I want to have a look at? Tigers, of course. Who wouldn't want to see a tiger? Asian elephants. I want to see all the animals. I want to see jaguars. I want to see... What did I want to see? There was one of these little lemurs. I can't remember what kind of lemur it was now, but they look like bush babies. They look like the lesser galago. They're so sweet. They're small. Very small. Mouse lemur? Did I make that up? I could have made that name up, though. Oh, my goodness. What was that rat? Not the rat, that mouse that howls. Remember, we watched the video of the howling mouse. It was really quite funny. That was that in Canada? I think it was. I'd like to go and see that little thing, whatever it was. That's hysterical. I'd just be laughing the whole time because it's so funny and I can't take anything seriously. I also think did we miss our turn-off? I feel like we maybe missed our turn-off because I was yakking too much. Okay, we'll take the next turn-off. Whoops. It's not like I haven't done that before. No, we could be alright. No, I think I did miss it. I think this is now Hippo Pools Road. Okay, we'll just take it anyway. What else would I like to see? I don't know, there's just so many animals. I mean, my goal is to one day be able to travel the world, mainly for wildlife. I'm not into visiting all the big cities too much. I'd quite happily rough it and go out into areas where maybe I'll get an opportunity to go and travel somewhere where there's not even been a person before. How cool would that be? I definitely want to go to the Pantanal in Brazil. That's also quite high up on my list. I want to try and visit places that unfortunately might not be around for a very long time, just due to deforestation or the changing climates. I'd like to go to the Arctic too and see Arctic fox. I want to see walruses. I want to see polar bears. I want to see all these amazing creatures. Whales. I've only seen whales from a distance before. I've never seen them up close, so that could be quite cool as well. All the animals. Show me everything. I'll be happy. Even the frogs. Oh, imagine going to Brazil. I'd be in heaven. Can you imagine if I got to go there, seeing all those amazing nocturnal creatures, go on a night walk and see the frogs and spiders, and maybe not the spiders so much, but all the other creatures that live in the jungle. That would be incredible. I'll have to start planning a trip there. I think I'd like to go to Sri Lanka first. I really want to go to Sri Lanka, especially to visit our friends from Leopard Trails. They were so much fun. I think Rebecca's going now to Sri Lanka, if I'm not mistaken, which is quite fancy. I'm jealous. If I was on holiday, I would be traveling with Rebecca to go to Sri Lanka. I'd be in that plane, I'd be trying to surf on the beautiful beaches, and I'd be tasting all the food. It would be great. Seb, where would you like to go?
In terms of wildlife, or
Yeah, wildlife. Let's see as though we're doing a wildlife show. We might as well talk wildlife sometimes.
see the snow leopard,
The snow leopard? Yes. Also want to see that. That's true.
Brazil for sure.
Yeah, Brazil's a good one. Definitely.
Australia. I'd like to go
Crikey! You want to go to Australia?
some kangaroos and some koalas.
Well, there we go. You can go visit all my family. They'll probably drive you crazy, though, and you'll get sick of them. Maybe. No,
Big
no.
dream Antarctica.
Antarctica. That would also be really, really nice. Yes, I want to go in all these places. Perhaps when I one day become a multi-billionaire, doing what I'm not sure, winning the lotto, probably not. But yes, then I shall travel the aisle, buy a big ship, and everybody can come with me. We can just travel the world. How much fun does that sound? Huh? Great. Hopefully we'll learn a thing or two along the way as well. But let's jump on board with Byron, who doesn't seem to be having too much luck with that leopard, but I'm sure he's so excited to tell you about all the places and all the animals that he wants to see.
Well, yeah, no luck. I'd like to see a leopard, to be honest. Jeez, it is so frustrating. Anyway, I think, what would I like to see, or where would I like to go? I think I'd have to agree with Sebastian, with the snow leopard. Senzo, what do you want to see? Did you say you want to see a bear? Huh? Bears in North America. Oh, hang on. That's not going to work. There's a big tree stump there. So I'm trying to off-road in this area that I think this leopard went. Maybe it lay down somewhere. That's what I'm hoping for. I also got to be careful. I don't want to hit a stump while I'm driving through here. So yeah, snow leopards would be amazing. Jaguars in the Pantanal, like Taylor was saying. What else? I don't know. Yeah, those snow leopards. That is something I really would like to see. I'd love to see that. Hang on, I'm just looking. Anything else, Senzo, that you can think of? Like Taylor said, to win the lotto would be amazing. Oh, really? Senzo wants to film under the sea. Now, Senzo, why on earth would you want to do something like that? You like the ocean. Can I tell you? Okay, so this is a secret, everyone. I'm not actually afraid of anything out here. I'm happy to walk in the bush by myself, and I've got respect for the animals, and I'm always careful and cautious. I'm not afraid of anything out here. Under the sea, not for me. See, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. I think no. So, I think being under the sea, scuba gear on, I'd get claustrophobic. That's my biggest fear, is having to breathe through a mask and rely on a tank on your back. No, I'm happy to swim on the surface and snorkel. That's fine, because I can just lift my head if I need air. But this down, no, it's not for me. Taylor says maybe we should just call Senzo the Little Mermaid from now on. Senzo the Little Mermaid / Prince of Kenya. Oh gee, Senzo, where has this leopard disappeared to? Yeah, maybe they lied to us. Maybe they didn't see anything. what I was confused about is why didn't they let us know that it was heading this way so that we could get into the area? Sensor, a lot better than saying, oh, it's crossed. Oh wow, it sounds like Taylor's found a genet in a tree. I wonder if it's the genet that we saw the other day. Let's go have a look.
It's Genet Joplin. Ha 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 ha. Actually, that credit goes to Byron because he said Genet Joplin the other day too. No, it's another hole in a tree that we have found. We're actually on Quarry Pan Road, and I just saw these little eyes, and I thought, oh, that's exciting. Isn't that amazing? We're so lucky at the moment, and I'm not surprised though. It's typical at this time of the year to see genet and white-tailed mongoose and honey badgers and pangolins and all these cool things just because the bush is so exposed. I don't think you'd see that in summer because the tree might get a couple of leaves on it, and I think the shrubs in front of it could be a lot fuller too, so it would make it a bit difficult. But that's a great little spot in there. Now remember not to stick your hand into the crevices of trees because you might not be lucky and find something like a genet. You could find a snake, you could find a scorpion, you could find many different things that you wouldn't want to touch. But that is really awesome. I'd love to know how big that cavity really is inside, although I suppose genets are nimble little creatures and they can curl themselves up into little balls if they wanted to, so they wouldn't need much space. Now, we're really lucky. We have Genevieve, the genet, that comes and visits us in camp quite regularly, and she's very relaxed. She's not tame. You can't touch her. I reckon you'd lose a finger, should mistaken your finger for a pork sausage or a cheese griller. And you don't know what types of diseases that they carry, so it's always good to stay clear. Even though she is relaxed and she comes close, she's just used to people. She's obviously lived in camps for most of her life and going into the staff villages and things like that. It wouldn't put it past me if people have fed her in the past. However, we have a strict no feeding policy. Well, especially when Tristan and I are around, we enforce it. We don't feed her. We don't want to sort of intervene with nature, but she comes around and she sniffs about. Are you coming out the hole? Oh, you're going to groom yourself. That's quite cool. Not every day that you get to watch a genet groom itself. I apologize, the light changing color all the time. Are you going to go infrared?
Keep your light on there like that, just a little bit.
It's very easy for you to say that. My arms are very sore now, the way that I'm positioning. That's why I want to actually reposition. I apologize. Let me just get a better... There we go. Now I've rested my arms, one on my leg and one on the other back of the chair. So Genet has been sleeping for most of the day, and now it is waking up. It's very difficult to be able to tell male and female, especially one of the only ways that I suppose you know is if you look for the manly parts underneath the tail. Will probably be the easiest, but it is pretty tough when they're in a hole like that. But that's so cool to see a genet actually waking up from its slumber. I've never seen that before. Kathy, you said we need to find a Genet Lopez. Why did I say Lopez? What even accent is that? Jennifer Lopez. We can have one. Obviously, we don't know if these are the same individuals that we're seeing. We only know that Genevieve in camp is the same one, because what are the chances that you'll see so many relaxed genets like that? And she also has a big notch out of her ear, so she's quite easy, and she's a she. We checked the other day when she was dangling her tail. We ducked underneath her. Very brave of Tristan and I to check. Jenny, you've said that this is your first genet. How fitting. Jenny the genet. Very cool. Seb, do you think if I move forward a little bit, we should get a better view of this genet's face? Let's try that. I'm just going to move slightly forward, just that you obviously saw there's a slight obstruction. Just for Seb. I've got a clear view, but I think if I do the same thing for Seb, how's that? Yeah. Let's test. Hopefully it hasn't run. No, it's still there. Just a little bit down. Let me get both arms ready. Point and shoot. Go down a little bit. There we go. Just in the corner. Still not quite ready to come out just yet, but eventually it will. Now, they eat a number of different things. Like we've been discussing, that a lot of the animals are opportunistic feeders out here, and a genet will eat a lot of different things. They will eat, I wouldn't be surprised if they ate eggs, but they love insects, so they specifically like those alates, the princes and princesses of the termites that fly away after the rain. They'll eat an abundance of insects, so even those big crickets that we got to see a kingfisher eating once, that's what they'll gobble on. And I'm sure they'll get little birds every now and then too. Like I said, opportunistic. Now, Kat, you're wondering how big is a genet? Firstly, a genet is also not a cat, just in case you were wondering. Lengthwise, from tip of its nose to the end of its tail, I'm busking. I'll have to check on the measurements, but that means I have to put the spotlights down, which I can't do right now because this is too important. Let's guess. Let's go with, I would say, 1 meter to 1.2 meters in total. They've got a very long tail. Their body's not necessarily very long, but that tail, I wouldn't be surprised if their tail is even longer than their body. It's amazing. And it's so important for balance, especially when you're climbing around trees. And like genets, of course, not only do they live in them, but they will move around in them too. And balancing on those branches, it's impressive. And the most impressive thing I've actually got to see was Genevieve running across. We have this basically a latter fence, so it's not quite bamboo, but it's thin pieces of wood that. So if you get what bamboo looks like, so that type of thing, a little bit thicker, and they're placed together quite closely. What is wrong with me? Closely too. So I'm doing spoonerisms. I added the T to closely because I was going to say closely together, and then it creates an awesome fence. But you can imagine the diameter of the latter poles is not particularly big, so when she runs across the top of them, it's amazing. It's like the equivalent of a tightrope walker, watching a tightrope walker walk across a piece of rope, and she does it with absolute ease, and then she'll jump from that small sort of narrow position onto a tree. But it's, you know what, I think I'm going to take these lights off of her now. The reason being is that she doesn't look quite ready to wake up just yet, or if it is a she. We had some yawns. We also had, of course, some grooming, but has gone back to sleep again. So we don't want to put too much bright light on them. They typically don't enjoy it, but how lovely is that skyline? Isn't that beautiful? Lots of different colors, dead knobthorn trees, silhouetted against the sky. It would be nice if you had the genet coming out and standing on one of those open branches. I would never have even thought of the opportunity to see a silhouetted genet against the sky. Now, Snazzy, you're wondering if that hole was made by the genet? No, I don't think so. They use natural cavities. So that could have been created by, say, a woodpecker, maybe an old nesting site again from a barbet or something along those lines, or just the tree, the center just rotting away. And then maybe, if there were some bits of scraps, sort of like some wood that maybe the termites have eaten and it was all dead, it wouldn't surprise me if Genet would maybe make that nesting site a little bit more comfortable and perhaps scrape some of the undesired debris out. But otherwise, they are unable to sort of, widen it. They don't have a nice sharp beak that they can peck away at it. They don't use their teeth. They definitely don't use their claws to claw into the tree. So it's typical natural cavities, and mainly in the trees, of course. Right, let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find. That was really nice. Genets everywhere. Very cool. Oh my goodness. Well, we better very quickly go across to Byron. He's got one of the rarest animals in the Sabi sand.
Well, they're not that rare. Just for some reason on Juma they are. But look at this. A whole herd of buffalo. Isn't that exciting, everyone? No leopard, but buffalo. Tristan, very optimistic. He thinks that the Nkuhuma Pride are possibly going to catch one. That would be wonderful. That would be great, not for the buffalo, but for the lion pride. And for us to hopefully get the lions back here. But this is great. I haven't seen a herd of buffalo here for months. So this is really, really nice. Now, this is so great to see buffalo again. Now, my bird list took a bit of a back seat while I was trying to look for a leopard, but I'll have to continue tomorrow again. I can just hear a Scops owl calling in the distance, but I'm standing on 36 apparently that we've got on camera, so we need to definitely pick it up again tomorrow, which we will. In the morning we might have some luck. I'll definitely go across to Chitwa Dam and go and have a look at some water birds, hopefully. Now you can see how these buffalo, now they're staying quite close together, which is interesting, because often they do spread out. They're just grazing, looking for the grass that they love to feed on. Every now and then you hear the horns clashing and these massive buffalo feeding on grass. This is really a nice surprise. Snazzy, you say it gets dark here so quickly. I suppose. But especially these buffalo, because they are so dark, it's difficult to see them at night. Debbie, you asked how many there are. I'm just going to scan quickly across here. 5, 8, 13, 20. I don't know. There's possibly about, I would say, between 20 or 30 buffalo here. Just judging. I can't see at the back there. But somewhere around there, I think. 20 or 30. That's a nice size herd. Hopefully, well, it looks like they are steadily moving towards our side. They're just on Buffelshoek, but it looks like they're steadily moving towards Djuma. So that would be great if they hang around here for a while. Wouldn't it be great if that leopard just popped out somewhere around here and gave us a view, even if it's just a brief view? It would just be nice to see a leopard. This was a really nice surprise though, to see a herd of buffalo. Liz, you say you've never been so happy, or you didn't expect to be so happy to see a herd of buffalo. Yeah, see what happens when you don't see certain animals for quite a while. You get very excited to see them. And buffalo, I enjoy buffalo. I don't know, I just know how potentially dangerous they can be. Very unpredictable animals, very powerful. So I like buffalo. I think I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on from the buffalo. That was a great surprise. Now we just need one more surprise. Taylor got to find another Genet. Oh, that's exciting too. But she's still scanning with the spotlight. Let's see what else she can find.
Not a Genet, but another of the nocturnal creature, a nightjar. And this looks like a fiery neck nightjar. Just from the sort of reddish fit. There we go. As it turns its head, you'll see that someone's got a rust band behind its neck. It's a very pretty bird, this. Isn't that cool? Look at that massive eye. Even casting a shadow. You can hear a barred owlet calling in the distance, and it's just flown off. Not a very good night, however, for sort of hunting for a nightjar. We always talk about them hawking. And for that, it's nice to actually have the moon out. Then the insects are silhouetted against the sky, and that's the best way to hawk. But I'm sure it will do a sterling job. Anyways, just with a little slither of the moon. I could hear a barred owlet, but it was quite far away. It actually sounded like it was maybe in this drainage line. We've seen 2 bush babies already, but they won't sit still. So hopefully we find one now as we're driving. That's the best thing. As like Byron was saying, it's pretty, or I think he was saying, or maybe we were talking about it in the review meeting today, I don't know now, how it's actually easier to put birds on screen while you're live and while you're driving around. The same thing goes for a bush baby, for a white-tailed mongoose, for a honey badger, all these different things. It's actually the review Megan has reminded me. It all feels like a blur today. So it's a good area for bush babies. It's very thick, lots of trees to bounce about. Let's see if we can find another one. That would be really nice, because then fiery neck nightjar, genet, and a bush baby, I think that's a very, very good night drive. It's nice to see the nocturnal animals, and they're not very common. I mean, I don't know when last week I put a bush baby on screen. I know that Byron and Ali, when Ali was still here, they were having a competition between them, trying to get them on screen. The last sighting I had of one, I think, was mom carrying infants. Ilana, who is only 14 years old, you're wondering, other than rhinos, what other animals can't we put on screen? None, actually. That's it. It's really quite a simple list. And in the Mara we can show rhinos. It's just a rumor that we aren't showing them yet. Maybe one day, who knows? They're amazing creatures. But that pertains to both black and white species of rhino. Let's see what else is here. See, there's lots of guarri trees. It's the chameleon tree in the winter. It's the one with the most foliage on. They love them. But I don't know. It's been warm today. It was a very warm day. But obviously not warm enough. But again, we're not checking on the tops of the trees now. We are searching down on the lower levels, because that's where they'll tend to go. Let's hang down where the foliage is a little bit thicker. Oh, I really hope we can find a bush baby. We had such nice luck now, and it's really starting to disappear. But how about those buffalo, right? Amazing. Where have they been all this time? I hope that I get to see them. That'd be really great. I've picked up a stick. Get out of the car. I'll just drive over you. I think I got rid of that stick. Now, LMI, how many bugs do you think I swallow is the question. So many. If you watch in summer, I'm very unladylike, and I have to apologize regularly because I'll spit off the side of the car, or I choke, on a bug that I've just eaten. I do 2 things. I either catch them in my mouth, or I catch them in my eyes. Byron says the reason why I eat so many bugs is because I'm always talking. Obviously, it would be weird if I was just quiet all the time. Can you imagine? Just silent safaris. I can't. I have to talk. Go away, Sebastian. Seb says it's nice. It's the best safari he's ever done with me for those 30 seconds. I don't even think I made it till 30 seconds. I really can't help myself when I talk. It's a problem. I think I have verbal diarrhea. That's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I have it. Really, like Tristan, exactly. And like Ali. And like Byron. I don't even think that he is able to say something like that. He doesn't keep quiet in camp. We actually have to ask him to stop talking. All of us talk a lot. And we like to talk lots of nonsense too. That's our speciality. It's our favorite thing to do. Oh my goodness. That is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Tristan says that he's the quiet one. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. That's not the case at all. However, Brent is definitely louder than me. That's for sure. I think I come second after Brent. And then Innocentia's not quiet either. You're right. How funny is that? So there's a 4-second delay when I'm talking to Final Control. So that basically they're just hearing. And as I'd said that, I know Megan hadn't quite heard my comment. That's why it is so weird. Because as I said, I think Innocentia, she makes quite a bit of noise. Innocentia is one of our editors. When she's a camera lady, she becomes Essentia. And Megan actually had said that she thinks in Essentia when that girl she can really bang it out when she wants to. It's really funny. Luckily, we're all not in the same room at the same time, because I think we could crack windows and glasses and all these types of things. It's so funny. Isn't Essentia watching? Is she still in FC, or she left? Is she giggling? Oh, yeah. So, Ino, as we affectionately call her, is still sitting in final control, working very hard, putting together all sorts of wonderful footage. Right, I can't believe we haven't had any luck. This is ridiculous. From 2 bush babies to now nothing. And not even a chameleon. No, I'm not. I was going to say, oh, maybe it's time for another chameleon song, but that's not going to happen. Maybe on my last drive. Right. So I'm going to just use exactly what Megan said, that she said to me. So here we go. Enough of me, sort of blabbering on. Let's go across to Chitty Chatty Byron.
Very clever, very clever. I'm sorry, Taylor. I didn't mean it in a nasty way. I was only joking. We all a bit chatty around camp, I suppose. It's good. Imagine we were quiet and boring. That wouldn't be cool. Tristan is definitely not the quietest. Just because he speaks a bit softer than us doesn't mean he doesn't speak at all. It's kind of like story time with Tristan. Story time with Tristan. I'm terribly sorry, everyone, that I could not find that leopard. I tried really hard. I don't know what happened to it. Don't know which direction it went. It disappeared. Oh, and it was so frustrating. It really is. If we just had a few more minutes and we knew it was heading this way, we probably would have seen it and followed it. But who knows? Let's see what else we can find, maybe just while we've got a little bit of time left. And tomorrow is another day, everyone. We will try again tomorrow. V-Scroll, you said you'd love to see a pangolin in the wild. Yeah, that is really amazing to see, and they are creatures which are very shy, firstly, and also endangered. So it's not easy to find them. Also, they prefer certain areas more so than others, but they do occur in the Sabi Sands, and they have been seen here a number of times. So you never know. We could bump into one. A friend of mine was actually in the Kruger Park recently, I think about a few days ago, a week ago, and they were just driving along and they saw a pangolin. So they're definitely out and about. It's just with them being so small and elusive, it's very difficult to see them. Wonderful thing is that, you know what, these animals are here. So it's just a case of having a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, or everything combined. Everything needs to be on your side to find those types of creatures, those elusive, shy, rare and endangered creatures. Like a leopard, for example. Snazzy, that's in exactly what I'm looking for is eye reflections. So anything, most of the animals all reflect, their eyes reflect in the spotlight, especially predators. They've got nice big eyes, and it's fairly easy to see or get a glimpse of the eye with the spotlight, with the reflection. So that is what we're looking for. A scrub hare running off into the thicket, just off to the right. There it is, little scrub hare, or Tristan often just likes to call them bunnies. Apparently Tristan's having a little giggle. Tristan the bunny hugger. Well, I suppose actually Tristan is a bit cuddly. Well, that's what everyone seems to think. It's like a big teddy bear. All right. Hang on, what is this over here in the grass? What is that? Is that a white-tailed mongoose? Oh, yes, I was hoping to see one. There it goes, white-tailed mongoose, everyone. Fantastic. I think Tristan saw one last night, or the night before. I was hoping to find the white-tailed mongoose. Oh, this is very exciting. I've not seen one of these for quite some time. The largest mongoose species in Africa, nocturnal and usually solitary. There it goes. Oh, that is wonderful. Look at that beautiful view. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, and it's just disappeared behind that log. But oh, that is great. You see, things happen for a reason. There we can still see it. There it goes. Might still be able to see it. Just have a look there, Senzo. It's still there. Just around there. Where did it go? Oh, it's disappeared now. There it is. It's still right there in the center. There it is. You can just see a bit of movement. Oh, well, it's moving off through the long grass there now. But what a nice surprise. As I was saying, you never know what you're going to bump into. Time, patience, luck, and a bit of skill. All of those combined, and you'll hopefully find what you're looking for. Well, thank you very much again to all of you, to our viewers, all your questions and comments. We love hearing from you. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will be out again tomorrow morning for Sunrise Safari. Thank you very much, Taylor and Sebastian on the other vehicle. And the ladies in the final control. It's been a fun afternoon. I've really enjoyed it. We will see you all tomorrow. Good night, goodbye, have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.